much to cover today. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And things are coming apart for the Uniparty, the Democrat, Republican establishment, the fake news media, and everything else. I'm going to cover it all on the show today. And, you know, the Young Turks, for those that don't know, I'm going to get into this as soon as we go on the air, which will be shortly. The Young Turks is one of the biggest online liberal media organizations out there, and they're in full-blown panic over these new polls that are out showing Trump just gaining so much among minority voters, and also the new polls that he's destroying Biden. I mean, this is just fantastic. So we're going to cover all that today. And President Trump has done some really miraculous things too that we're going to get into. Oh, this is like more news than we have time for. That's why I do 2 shows, right? So I have my podcast later. And what I don't get to, I'll get to on the podcast. Oh, man. Where is everyone located today on the stream? Like, what state, what city, what country are you in? And if you're new, we're going to go live shortly in just about 1 minute. And anytime I'm live streaming, I'm taking live calls, okay? And all the calls are screenless. So much to cover, guys. I'm excited. This is a great day. No doubt about it. It is a great day. If you're MAGA, it's a great day. If you're a Democrat, well, you know, not so great unless you're walking away from the Democrats over to the Trump train. Okay, here we go. Getting ready. Melbourne, Australia, Kansas, Tennessee's Smoky Mountains, St. Johns County, Florida. That's right. MAGA for life, baby. That's right. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Poplar Bluff, Missouri. That's something I've never heard of that location before. Sutherland, Virginia, welcome. Here we go, 10 seconds. Here we go.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We've got a lot to cover. Holy smokes, do we have a lot to cover. There's a complete meltdown in the mainstream corporate fake news media. And there's some new polls out that have the Uniparty, the Democrat establishment, the Republican establishment, everyone in between, in a complete panic meltdown mode. And they're making moves, okay? They're making moves. And the worst time to make any moves, to make any decisions, is when you are in a panic. Panic is anxiety, right? And when you're in an anxiety state, the last thing you want to do is make decisions. But thankfully for us on the Trump train, that's a good thing for us because their decisions will all be bad, and they'll make things worse as well. And I got to tell you this much: I have never been this excited about polls as I have been today, because you know President Trump has always had good polls, regardless of what they tell you. But this is the first time since Trump came down the escalator that the Trump polls had an effect like they're having on the establishment, on the liberals. And that is what I enjoy. Now, we do take calls live on the air. Remember, all the calls are screenless. Any and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday, but today is Monday, where you're limited to the topics that we bring up. However, a lot of news did break over the weekend. So while Monday is not our open phone day, there were a lot of things happened over the weekend, like Menendez and such. We're going to get into all of this stuff. But any of the big news over the weekend, since the Menendez indictment to today, is fair game today. I'm going to try to get to as much of it as I possibly can, all right? And I'm very excited about Menendez, and we'll get into that as the show goes on. But I was watching online the Young Turks, and I don't usually do that. They're liberal, and I know who they are, but I don't watch them. I have, but not for a long time, and only once or twice briefly because of either a topic or a guest they had on. But I watched the Young Turks today before I left my house, and for those that don't know, the Young Turks is billed as the largest liberal online news organization on, like, YouTube and such. And they've got some pretty big people there. I don't even know how to pronounce the main guy there. I don't even know what his name is, I can't even pronounce his name. Anna Kasparian. And then they have this other guy whose name I can't remember, but he's a liberal guy, and he's the host on like on the old movie channels. He introduces all the old movies. Ben Makowitz. Ben Makowitz is his name. That's right. You ever know Ben Makowitz? If you're ever watching the old movies, he does those intros for them. He's one of the Young Turks, although the Young Turks aren't that young. They're all like middle-aged and older. So maybe they got to update the name. But anyway, I was watching them, and it was almost like divine intervention, because I never watch these liberals on the Young Turks, and they were having just a complete meltdown over these new polls showing Trump doing so well. In particular, what really freaked them out was that they don't see a path for Biden to beat Trump. And there's a new poll. There were several polls over the weekend, but one showing his support among minorities that has them freaking out. And I have a story here. It's in the Washington Post, and this is what the Young Turks were freaking out. They went over this story today. They're just like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We got to drop Biden. Well, we're going to plug in if you get rid of Biden. So this is the headline, Washington Post. I love this stuff. Trump hits new poll highs with Black, Hispanic voters. What to make of it? And there's analysis with this writer at the Washington Post, Aaron Blake. Now remember, they didn't say black or Hispanic on the Young Turks. They're liberals. They use liberal code words. They said non-white voters. Non-white voters. Well, technically that's accurate, but why not say black and Hispanic? I don't know why they say non-white voters. But the Washington Post is a proud liberal rag, okay? This is the paper of Woodward and Bernstein, and remember, Woodward and Bernstein, we have come to find out that the whole story about them is not true. They did no investigative reporting into Richard Nixon and Watergate. It was all handed to them by the deep state. The FBI handed Bob Woodward everything. All this stuff in the movies and all the ribbon on the tree on the porch, and the garages in the middle of the night, and house to house, all nonsense. But the Washington Post, they don't even pretend to be a credible newspaper. They're proudly liberal, which is okay. At least they're honest liberals as far as liberals go. Anyway, listen to this. I'm going to read through this article and enjoy it with you all. Either Donald Trump's standing in early 2024 polls is inflated, or we are headed for a sizable realignment in how non-white voters cast their ballots. Democrats do nothing but classify people in all these different categories, right? I look at people as Americans. The only real classification I'll talk about mostly are liberal and conservative. But they got everybody just in different classes. You're white, you're non-white, you're this, you're that, you're straight, you're gay, you're Christian, you're a suburban mom. All these things. Multiple polls in recent weeks have shown Trump performing historically well among Black and Hispanic voters in head-to-head matchups with Biden, helping put him neck and neck with Biden in a way he rarely was during their 2020 matchup. Across 5 high-quality polls that have broken out non-white voters in the past month, Trump is averaging 20% of Black voters and 42% of Hispanics. Okay, now this is an amazing thing and historic. The Republicans get like 9% of the black vote in the last few election cycles. Now we're up to 20%. This is absolutely amazing. I'll talk more about why that is as the show goes on. And 42% of Hispanics, and we'll talk more about that. So they go on. Both numbers, especially that for blacks, could set modern-day records for a Republican in a presidential election. Yeah, this is probably the highest black support for a Republican since General Eisenhower, right? Look at this. Trump in 2020 took in just 8% of the black vote. So in 2020, Trump had 8% of the black vote. Now he's at 20. So how did he go from 8, which is 3-4 points higher than most Republicans? How did he go from 8 to 20 among black voters? I know how. And he went, and in 2020, he had 36% of Hispanic voters. Now he's at 42. This is according to the Pew Research Center's Validated Voter Survey. Exit polls peg those figures at 12% of black voters and 32% of Hispanics. No Republican presidential candidate in the past 50 years has approached receiving 20% of the black vote, since Republicans took 18% in 72, 16% in 76, according to polls that have taken more than 12% of black voters. Their average share over the past 50 years for Republicans is 9% of black voters. So the average is 9% of black voters vote Republican, and now Trump is at 20. Now listen, we're going to take our first break of the week, and when we get back, we'll get into more details on this. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on
This
air.
is amazing stuff, guys. Absolutely amazing stuff. Oh, yeah. I mean, to go from 9, what did he have last time? Let me see here. To go from 8% to 20% among blacks for Trump. That's absolutely amazing. Why? I'll tell you why I think when we get back from the break. But you guys in the chat, why do you think Trump has gone from 8% with black voters to 20% in such a short period of time? Why do you think that is? Just 2.5 years. What would you owe that to? There's a whole bunch of reasons. There's a few reasons. I'll give you what I think are the few reasons. I put a YouTube short up there. I absolutely did. I put a YouTube short up. The mugshot, the border. Bidenomics, cost of living. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Economy and the border crisis? Absolutely. Now, guys, don't forget there's a link pinned in the chat. If you're watching live, get your Mighty Maga Lion. This is available exclusively through me. My wife and I, and Dee, one of our mods, we came up with the idea, designed it, had it made. They're available exclusively through me at mightymagalion.com. If you're watching live, there's a link pinned in the chat. If you're not watching live, there's a link in the description, or just go to mightymagalion.com. He's got his MAGA hat on. It says 45 on the side. Isn't he cool? Cool tail. That's right. mightymagalion.com. Order yours. This is a great Christmas gift, guys. A great Christmas gift. Absolutely. I know a lot of you have already bought yours, and they're all being shipped out from my house. So my wife and I will, when you get your Mighty Maga Lion in the mail, my wife and I will have handled each and every single one of them. and I will have taken them to mail myself in my car. And they're limited edition. Yes, MightyMagaLion.com. Again, the link is pinned in the chat. And there's a link in the description, or just go to MightyMagaLion.com. Isn't he cool? Looks just like Trump's hair, doesn't he? All right. Oh, there's other ways, Deborah. All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, and man, do we have great news. So liberals are in a panic. Just to do a quick recap, then I'll finish up with this article. I was watching the Young Turks early this morning before I came to the radio station. Very liberal, very well-known liberals, and they're just having a complete panic over the minority support, black and Hispanic support, that President Trump is receiving. And there's this huge article in the Washington Post that I'm going through that had them freaking out. So President Trump in the latest polls is polling 20% among blacks. In 2020, he received only 8% of the black vote. Now he's at 20. He's polling 40% with Hispanics, and he was only in 2020, let me go back here. All these numbers, I'm losing track. He was 32 in 2020, and now he is at 42 among Hispanics. So they're freaking out about this. Okay, Hispanic voters have trended towards the GOP in recent elections, but the party's current high watermarks over the past half century are 37% in 84. Okay, a disputed 44% in 2004, and the Hispanic vote among Republicans averages 40%, and President Trump is ahead of that. So this is the liberal Washington Post analysis that I'm reading to you. So the Washington Post writes, so how plausible is this? The first thing to note is that individual polls tend to feature small samples of black and Hispanic voters, which is why we have combined multiple surveys. Okay, so what they're spending the rest of the article doing here is telling you how this is an outlier. There was an ABC poll over the weekend, which I'm going to get into after the next break. And in the ABC News poll, nationwide poll, Trump is destroying Biden in that poll too. So what they're doing with all of these polls are trying to tell you that they're outliers, that all the other polls don't show this, these are outliers. Well, if all the polls are showing Trump winning everywhere, it's not an outlier. And what they're trying to do, they're doing something which is amazing on the left, and they never do this. They're sharing the polls that don't help the Democrats. This is where the hysterics come in. This is when they make a decision during panic attacks, okay? So what the liberals media are doing are sharing something they never share. Polls that show a Republican that they hate Donald Trump, just obliterating every possible opponent, including Biden. And the reason that they're doing this in their panic attack is they've assumed that if they don't report it, people are still going to find out about it and try to convince people this isn't true. It's an outlier. Well, they got two different polls that are outliers now, they're saying. Every poll's an outlier that they're losing in. So, I'll share with you why I think the black and Hispanic vote has shifted so strongly to President Trump. And I welcome your thoughts on this, by the way, at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. And there's a goal that the media have with this. And I'll get into the Young Turks, what they were doing in just a minute. But one of the reasons are many, but a few of the reasons blacks and Hispanics are going to Trump is, well, the same reason everybody else, okay? Who's better off financially today than they were 4 years ago? Well, if you're in the military-industrial complex, you're raking in the money, man. They just started another war for you. If you're someone like that, you're doing well. But even if you're making more money than you were making on Trump's last day of his first term, your money's not going as far. I was talking, and let me tell you, I give you an example. Okay, I'll give you an example. And I was talking about this on my YouTube live stream yesterday afternoon. If you guys watch me on YouTube, I drink a lot of coffee in the mornings and throughout the day. I'm a coffee addict. I often tell people I'm addicted to coffee like Hunter is addicted to drugs and Russian-Ukrainian hookers. Now, my vice is coffee. His is cocaine and hookers, but prices of coffee have gone way up, and the money doesn't go as far. So if I don't finish a cup of coffee, I save it and microwave it. And this coffee that I'm drinking is the third time I've recycled the coffee that's in this cup. I had, do you think I'm kidding? I had, and this is because of the prices. This coffee that's in my cup started yesterday morning around this time. I made coffee, I filled it up, and I didn't finish the cup, and it got cold. I wasn't finished with it. And later in the day, I went to do a YouTube live stream, and I wanted some coffee, wake up, doing stuff. So I had some coffee left. So I put that coffee that was left, it even had cream mixed in it, in a coffee cup. I microwaved it, and I made a smaller amount of coffee and mixed it in with it. Added some more cream to get rid of the old burnt coffee taste. Well, I remixed it once. So then after that, I only drank about half of the thing, and I did it again. I made it just a little bitty tiny cup of coffee. I microwaved my coffee that was left over from like 2 in the afternoon yesterday, and before I left home this morning, mixed the two together. Because coffee is so expensive and our money's not going as far. And I know that may seem like a minor example, but I imagine a lot of people are doing stuff like I'm doing. Yeah, it doesn't taste as good, but, hey, it's what it is. The creamer helps, which I also have to ration because creamer prices have gone through the roof. And I use the Publix brand creamer, and that's gone through the roof. It's like a luxury item, And so that's one of the reasons that blacks and Hispanics are gravitating towards Trump, because like everyone else, Bidenomics means massive inflation. In fact, some economists are saying that we are in a secret depression among people, which is a scary thought. That's a terrible word. Politicians don't ever want to say that word. And people remember how great they were doing financially under Trump, even when the economy of the world was shut down for months. Okay? So that's the main reason. There were other reasons. People are ticked off that we're supposed to defend the sovereignty of the border in Ukraine, but we don't even have a southern border anymore. And boy, did something crazy happen there yesterday that I'm going to get to in a little bit. So there's a lot of reasons, but the main reason is that old saying, people vote their pocketbook. It's all about the money. People are struggling, and that is why. Okay? And Biden doesn't care. So the Young Turks that I was watching this morning, and the liberals and CNN, they are up to something. And after this break, I'll tell you what that is. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian, back after this. Oh, boy, oh boy. Yeah, that's the way it is. Does anybody else do that with their coffee? Coffee's expensive. Yeah, I had yesterday, my wife, she's straightening up. She goes in the kitchen and there was a cup and it had like this much coffee in it. She says, I said, don't throw that coffee away. She said, there's only this much left. I said, yeah, I'm going to heat it up in the microwave. You do that too, Bruce? Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So when we get back, I'll tell you what the Young Turks, these liberals, what they were very vocal about doing, which is same thing the rest of the liberals are talking about. but they're being more open about it than others. You're heating up coffee from yesterday. Yeah. I never used to do that, but now I do. That's Bidenomics. And over the course of a month, it adds up. Absolutely. Yeah, this coffee cup here is a mixture of 3 coffee cups. Stopped going out to eat completely. Yeah. Yeah. No, David. It's not hard to find me. Anybody can find me. Just type in my name, man. I can't quit. I can't quit. I'm addicted to coffee. It's my vice. All right, let me get the... It's like a 10,000 word article. I'm not going to read any more of that article. Okay. Oh, gasoline prices? Crazy. Crazy. I know. I was going to take my scooter today. It gets 102 miles a gallon, my Vespa, the MAGA scooter. But it's little rain out there. So it's drizzling. It is. It is. Oh boy, oh boy.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning, Ryan. I just want to say thank you for Dr. Appleton.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Orlando. It took 3 hours to go down there. It took my 90-year-old mom. My mom walked straighter than she ever walked in her life. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being such a willing vessel to talk about Dr.
Yeah, Bidenomics.
So you heard me in Orlando talking about Dr. Appleton and drove to South Florida with your mother to see him. Yes, my mom is awesome now. Awesome. No more arthritis, no more pills, none of that. She's going back to New York. She's just going to take 24 hours. And I'm telling you, no pain. She gets off that train.
If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, guys.
Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain, too. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com. If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association and your roof is old,
Okay.
you need to call Tom Laporta.
Oh, this is just a great day.
Tom Laporta will give you a free evaluation. Laporta Contracting was voted one of the best general contractor and best roofers in South Florida. He's honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and will never sell you a roof you don't need. If you have an insurance claim,
Oh.
insurance company immediately. Then call Tom Laporta.
Oh, I got something big on Trudeau.
Allow Tom to negotiate directly with
I got so much today
on the cost of all repairs, so you don't necessarily need to employ public
to go through.
or a lawyer. Tom can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools,
Oh.
buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now.
I gotta look up something here. Hold on.
4602 954-604-4602 and online LaportaContracting.com.
We're coming back shortly, guys. I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna get to the polls, but before I get back to these great Trump polls, I got something that's just brilliant from Laura Loomer. This is the best. This is the best. What Laura Loomer uncovered is amazing. I'm going to interrupt my poll coverage and celebration to do this because I'll forget. You won't want to miss this, guys. Laura Loomer uncovered something that's so good. Oh, we're back.
Back to the Steve Kane Show. Brian Craig celebrating 46 years on.
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. If you're just tuning in, you've missed a lot. But we've only just begun, guys, just like the Carpenters. Now, before I get back to the celebration of these new polls that are out on President Trump, the great Laura Loomer has uncovered something on Ron DeSantis that is beautiful. Now, she's uncovered a lot about Ron DeSantis, and she was the first MAGA person, Laura Loomer, to figure out Ron DeSantis was fake MAGA, okay? And now, again, from Laura Loomer, we learned that he doesn't own a car. Now, you might be able to get away with that if you live in New York City, but I don't know a man in Florida that does not own a car except Ron DeSantis. Not a working age man. I mean, I know a lot of people are retired and can't drive anymore, but a working age man doesn't own a car? I mean, guys, if your daughter came home and the guy she wanted to marry did not own a car, would you want your daughter to go out with that guy? And no way, and marry him? No. So Laura Loomer's found out all kinds of things about Ron DeSantis, including his donors and everything. But she uncovered something about Ron DeSantis that gives us some information about his military record that we did not know. And she's got the document to prove it. Laura Loomer has obtained the fitness report of Naval Lieutenant Ron DeSantis. This is, when I share this with you, you are going to think this is a joke. But this is as real and as serious as a heart attack, okay? Laura Loomer, I'm going to read her Twitter comments, and she has a screenshot of the document to prove it. Laura Loomer, she wrote this on the Twitter, and it was in response to someone. She says, "Why are you exaggerating Ron DeSantis' service? You know, a lot of people think that he was a Navy SEAL. No, he was a naval lawyer, you know, and before the Navy SEALs would open fire or go, you know, they would go to him for legal advice. Is it okay to kill these people? Is it okay to, you know, and he'd do legal advice. So Laura Loomer writes, "Why are you exaggerating Ron DeSantis' service? He wasn't in combat." Now, part of the next sentence I cannot read on the radio, so I'll have to change some of it. According to his record, DeSantis was a penis checker in the Navy. Okay, she used a different word, which I think you might be able to use, but I'm not sure. Now, what does that mean? Well, it goes on. Laura Loomer continues. He, Ron DeSantis, didn't fly planes in the Navy, contrary to his Top Gun TV ad. You know, that Top Gov ad that he did because Top Gun Maverick was out. DeSantis wanted people to think he was a Navy SEAL. Then he wanted people to think he was a naval aviator. Well, my headphones came unplugged. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I can't get them plugged back in, and I can't hear anything. Hold on. Live radio. I'm so excited. I ripped the wires right out of the board. Okay, there we are. Oh, man. I got so excited, I ripped my headphone wires right out of the board. Okay. So he didn't fly planes in the Navy, contrary to his Top Gov TV ad, and he wasn't on the front lines killing terrorists. Ron DeSantis was a urinalysis coordinator. He oversaw torture in Gitmo and examined other officers' urine and penises and asked them to urinate in cups. And then she writes, "See it for yourself. Here's one of his Navy records." So Laura Loomer has obtained the fitness report of Ron DeSantis. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a urinalysis coordinator, but if you're going around wearing Joe Biden aviator sunglasses, a Top Gun Tom Cruise flight jacket, and talking about the Navy SEALs, and you're asking people to pee in a cup, and that's your job, that's significant. Oh, man. I almost wish Trump was in the debate this week to bring this up. So she has his fitness report. Ronald D. DeSantis, lieutenant. Promotion status, regular. Okay, and then it says he's a general attorney, and he is, oh, it's worse. It's worse than a urinalysis coordinator. It's worse. He's the assistant urinalysis coordinator, it says here. Yes, it says he's a general attorney, okay. Collateral duties include active duty coordinator, facilities coordinator, and assistant urinalysis coordinator. That's his fitness record. Oh my goodness. Does Walmart Melania know this? You know, this is almost like when Alec Baldwin found out his girlfriend that became his wife was in Spanish, that she was American and faked her whole background and accent. Yes. Hilaria Baldwin is her name. Oh my goodness. Someone do you think Walmart Melania knows that DeSantis was he was not even the urinalysis coordinator. He was the assistant urinalysis coordinator. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, I served. I was off serving my country while he was doing real estate or something, he said in a recent interview. Oh my goodness. I have predicted this months ago, and some people gave me a hard time over this. See, I said right from the beginning, the assistant urinalysis coordinator, Ron DeSantis, I said many months ago, he's unelectable forever after his betrayal of Trump. Unelectable forever. And I predicted many months ago, and some of our never Trumpers here that like to call in gave me a lot of grief over this. I said, I predict that Ron DeSantis and his wife will get divorced when this all settles in. When he doesn't own a car, and he lives in government housing, right? The governor's mansion, but doesn't have a house, doesn't have a car, and he's unelectable forever. He's actually going to have to go out and get like a job, and nothing prestigious. And that's not what Walmart Melania is all about. And I predict that their marriage will sadly end in a divorce. I predicted this long ago. And the more that comes out, you know, this guy blew it like no one else. Ron DeSantis, the assistant urinalysis coordinator, according to his fitness report. Oh my goodness. You think they'll do an ad about that? Maybe Trump will do an ad about that. If anyone from the Trump campaign, and by the way, how do you think Laura Loomer got the fitness report of Ron DeSantis? Are those public? I've never seen a fitness report in my life. She's got a screenshot of the document. Okay, so if you go to Laura Loomer on Twitter, you'll see it. I've never seen a fitness report like that before. Maybe they've been in the news, maybe, I don't know, and when other people have run for office, but I don't remember. How do you get that? And, I mean, she's working for Trump, okay? She's working for Trump, on the down low. And the Trump people are giving her this information. This is beautiful stuff. Oh, my goodness. What'd you do in the war, Daddy? I was the assistant urinalysis coordinator. I had soldiers and airmen and Marines and sailors. They would pee in cups, and I was the assistant urinalysis coordinator. I'd love to see a commercial about that. Oh my God. Takes a little of the prestige away of his militaries. But he blew it. Ron DeSantis had it all. He had locked up the Republican nomination in 2028. He would have been the second MAGA president. and he got his wife whispering in his ear. He got Jeb whispering in his ear. He got Paul Ryan and Karl Rove and George W. Bush and all these jerks and war criminals and snakes whispering in his ear. And he blew it. And I'm glad he did, because I much rather would find out about Ron DeSantis now than after he won in 2028 and became the second MAGA president. So anyway, listen, we're going to take our last break of the first hour of the program. There's another massive poll showing Trump just sailing into victory, which I'm going to get into after the break. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. What kind of nickname can we give Ron DeSanctimonious, being the assistant urinalysis coordinator in the Navy? Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. We'll break and be right back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane
Be right back,
Show.
guys.
Hi, this is Gabriel with Florida Cash Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house in South Florida and want to sell it fast for a great price, call me at 561-570-7070. I can pay cash and close in as little as 3 days or on your time frame. I can even pay you a cash advance before the closing. I'm a local cash buyer, and I'm looking to purchase more houses. I buy all types of properties in any condition, any price range, and any situation. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I will even buy foreclosures and haunted houses. Woo! Do you own a vacant house or one that is trashed and needs thousands in repairs? Great! I love buying fixer-uppers. Regardless of your situation, I understand that life happens, and I'm here to help you. If you own a home and want to sell it fast and easy, I'll buy it. Call me at 561-570-7070. That's 561-570-7070. 561-570-7070.
Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank to give your family? Are you having a midday crash on a daily basis? Women, are menopause symptoms like hot flashes, anxiety, and depression making your daily life feel far more difficult than it should? Men, do you feel like you are aging far beyond what you should? Is your sexual life and relationship suffering because of disappointments in the bedroom? Then take action and let our medical team at Lighthouse Medical Center help you stop the symptoms that are holding you back. We use all natural hormone optimization therapies with precision technology to help solve your problematic symptoms. Our family-owned practice has had the honor of serving our South Florida community for over 71 years. Call us right now and let our medical team get you optimized and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. You and your family deserve the best version of you. Call us at 754-222-6642.
Oh, my goodness. How embarrassing. Now, he wasn't even the urinalysis coordinator. He was the assistant. Mike, the board op, he had a good name for just saying. I'll share it when we get back. If you're on hold, hang in there.
My word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie, Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had broken tooth. He fixed it, plus we kept going. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I'm going to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. If you're just tuning in, Laura Loomer has uncovered Ron DeSantis' military fitness report and had found out that he was the assistant urinalysis coordinator among his attorney duties. and I got to tell you, during the break, I left and went to the men's room talking about Ron DeSantis being the assistant urinalysis coordinator in the Navy. gave me the urge that I had to go to the men's room, and I did during the break. I know, it's TMI, but that's what you think. So what can we call Ron DeSantis now? How can we integrate into his name this new thing? Now, Mike, our board op, he had a good one. Ron P. Santis. I like that one. Ron P. Santis. I like that one. If you have any ideas, I can't wait till well, first off, Trump knows about this. That's how Loomer got it. But I can't wait till Trump first weighs in on this. I can't wait. Now, before we go to the calls, I just checked my email, and I should have checked it before I went on the air today. But hey, listen, we're only 48 minutes into the 3-hour show. Mike Lindell's assistant sent me an email this morning on a new special, and this is big. This is a flash sale. It is there now, and it will disappear as quickly as it flashed in. This is a flash sale at MyPillow.com, and we're in Christmas shopping season right now, guys. The original My Slippers. The original My Slippers. I have these. Steve has them. Now, these are the, you know which ones I'm talking about. The original, okay, with the suede, the moccasins, all the different colors for men and women, all sizes. You know, the regular price for Mike Lindell's My Slippers is $139.98. That's how much I paid for my first pair. Yeah, and they're worth it. I mean, I wear them all the time. I put them on as soon as I go home. They're so comfortable. I was wearing them this morning before I left. But they are right now in this flash sale, $100 off. This is a flash sale. This is your time to do your Christmas shopping for the My Slippers. Just $39.98 with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. $100 off the original My Slippers. You're getting them for $100 less than I paid for mine. I paid the full price. You know, right now just $39.98. I'm going to buy another pair. Okay, you can get yours $39.98 with our promo code Kane, Kane. This is for both men, women, all colors, all sizes, the original My Slippers. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. Hey, this is Joe from West Palm.
Hey.
Appreciate what you do. Love that you share information with everybody. You're fantastic for doing it. Again, I appreciate you. But I got to tell you, Brian, I'm a little I wouldn't say upset, but a little concerned that, hey, listen, I come from a military family, and I don't care if you're a cook or if you're a guy kicking in doors and taking names. The guy served his country. I'm not a fan of Ron DeSantis. I used to be, but I'm not now.
Okay, but hold on a second. I will never disrespect American service personnel. Okay, but this what Ron DeSantis is doing, borderlines stolen valor. Okay, you know, most people think he was a Navy SEAL. He was not. He was an attorney who advised legally Navy SEALs before military action. He was not a Navy SEAL. He did a TV ad, a Top Gov ad, that made it seem, you know, where he had he was dressed like Tom Cruise with the bomber jacket and everything. You know, he's put himself out there implying that he's a combat guy, which he's not. Okay, so you know it's borderline stolen valor what he's doing. Borderline stolen valor what he's doing, and I think he's disrespecting veterans and service personnel by passing him. Listen, you got to have everything in the military, and I would never disparage anyone for what their job is in the military. But when you start passing yourself off as something, you know, it's like that one senator. I forgot his name now, that Democrat who claimed he was a Vietnam veteran, and it turned out he was in the service but didn't go to Vietnam, and they started this, and the media started this thing to defend him, calling him a Vietnam-era veteran, right? So that's what DeSantis is doing. Who's that senator? Trump talks about him all the time. I forgot his name.
Not sure, but I love what you do, respect it.
No. Now that I've explained that to you, what are your thoughts on what I said?
That's like me saying, I never served in the military. I was in the military. No, that's just wrong. And I agree with you. He shouldn't have did that. He should have put things in perspective, without a doubt. But I definitely agree with you and all your thoughts, man. Without a doubt. portray himself. He was a combat vet without a doubt. But yeah, I don't care if you're a cook. You're still subject to.
No. But listen, you can be a cook. You can and be on the front line. Yeah, Blumenthal. Blumenthal is the stolen valor. Hey, listen, thanks for your call. And I'll tell you, Blumenthal started that he said he was a Vietnam veteran. He got busted, and then he said, "Well, I was a Vietnam era veteran." And I've seen guys around wearing hats that say Vietnam era veteran. What does that mean? Vietnam era veteran. It means you weren't in Vietnam, and I consider that stolen valor, in my opinion. Your thoughts are welcome on that at 1-888-GO-KANE. 1-888-465-2631. So the Young Turks meltdown that President Trump has historic highs among black and Hispanics in this new ABC poll. And in fact, he has the highest, they don't say this in the articles, but he has the highest polling numbers among blacks since General Eisenhower, okay, who won the Second World War in Europe. At least he's credited with that. So that Washington Post poll, though, is also causing, it has other causes for alarm from the Uniparty. Listen to this. This is in the Daily Mail. A new poll from the Washington Post showed disastrous numbers for incumbent Joe Biden, who is now 10 points behind Donald Trump in the latest measurement of the U.S. electorate. The 80-year-old president's approval rating stands at about 37%, 5 points lower than it was in February. Biden's disapproval is 56%. 48% say they approve of the job that Trump did while he was in office. Trump is 10 points ahead of Biden, 52 to 42 among registered voters. And this is an important distinction. Trump is 10 points ahead among registered voters, 52 to 42 against Biden. Okay? This is registered voters, and this is an important point about polling. Okay? There are three types of political polling, right? Registered voters, likely voters, and Americans. Every poll you see involving politics is either uses a polling sample of registered voters, likely voters, or Americans. The most scientific is likely voters. Likely voters are voters who voted, this is how it's defined by pollsters. A likely voter is someone who voted in the last two election cycles, okay, last two election cycles, and plans on voting in the next. An American could be someone who's 12 years old that's not registered to vote. And by today's definitions, an American can be a Canadian because they're North Americans. You know how liberals are now. Registered voters may never vote. They may be registered and never vote. You've got to add at least 10 points in Trump's favor to that poll, okay? Because it's a left-leaning poll. Because you know when things are bad for the Democrats, they do polls and they make them as biased as they can get away with, okay? And when they use registered instead of likely voters, and Trump has a 10-point lead, I would give him a 20-point lead against Biden. You got to add that they're oversampling liberals in a poll like that. So what is their plan? What are they doing? Well, the Young Turks that I watched this morning, which is the biggest liberal online thing out there, okay, the Young Turks want Biden out. They want Biden to drop out, and they're not alone. The mainstream Democrats want Biden out. Now, who are they going to plug in? I don't know who they're going to plug in or who they want to plug in or how they're going to plug in someone, but they want him out. They believe it's hopeless. Now, most people think they want to plug in Gavin Newsom. Now, no one, you pass over the president and the vice president who are currently in office, your chances of winning that election are slim to none, especially with a successful, popular person like Donald Trump. It very well may be at this point, although this is that maybe they're just trying to elevate someone so they have a good candidate next time. I mean, can they actually believe that Newsom could win against Donald Trump? They might. I know a lot of people are talking about Michelle Obama. I don't think that's a possibility. Michelle Obama's never had a job. She's been retired her whole life. And all of a sudden, she's going to start working. Are you kidding me? Plus, she's been super, super retired with all that money since Barack left the White House. So I think that the Michelle Obama thing is being floated just so they can get polling done on it and out of their desperation. But they are most definitely making a move to bypass both Biden and Kamala Harris. In fact, Clyburn was on over the weekend. He's with the Black Caucus, and he was asked point blank, is Kamala the future? And he said she has to earn it. Well, hopefully not by the way she earned that first statewide appointment she had by Willie Brown. She earned that one too. And I don't know if is Clyburn talking about that kind of, I don't know. But so they're going to pass them both over. They want them both out. Okay. This is brand new territory we are in here. And we don't want to get overconfident. You know, Trump's ahead in every poll. The Democrats are trying to bypass the sitting president and vice president. It's a disaster for the Democrats, but we don't want to get overconfident. We have to stand strong. And, you know, President Trump is speaking later today. I don't know if TV is going to carry it or not, but I hope that he gets into this story about Ron DeSantis being the assistant urine collector in the Navy. I hope he gets into that. I can't wait. Now, 1 hour's down. We got 2 to go. We're going to take our break. When we get back, there's a lot more to touch on. I've got so much to cover on the show today, and your calls are certainly welcome. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE 1. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening to us. And man, oh man, this is a great time. It's really the corporate media and the Uniparty. They don't even know how to process this yet. They really don't. But we're going to get into all of that and a whole bunch more after our top of the hour break. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Back right after this.
Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown.
Oh.
Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Rogue Studio. Injured recently? Call the Rogues Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Rogues, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created. Here's the Oldies forecast.
I lost my internet.
A great start. So today, volatile. We have a marginal risk for severe storms. Already saw a few storms overnight, pretty strong. And we're going to see that due to deep set tropical moisture in the area. A little daytime heating and a disturbance is going to really mean
I'm not sure what time.
Afternoon and evening as well. And WPBF 25 first warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw. Weather brought to you by Palm Beach.
But I think it's going to be earlier in the day, not late, not at night. But I'm not sure the exact time. Let me ask you guys, yes or no? Do you think what Ron DeSantis is doing is borderline stolen valor like Blumenthal, or not? The urinalysis collector story and all that. Or what do you guys think about that? I think it is borderline stolen valor. You guys let me know. I wouldn't say he was in the Navy, so it's not stolen valor, but it's borderline. Yeah, in my opinion. Yeah. Freedom Soup says no. Now, if he had that Top Gov ad, if it was him as the top urinalysis collector and he's running across the base with a sample of pee, that would have been an accurate ad instead of trying to pass himself off. It's like Blumenthal, passing himself off as a Vietnam veteran. Very similar. In my opinion, I mean, yeah, but what, you know what they say about opinions. Well, there's a difference between seeing combat and being in combat. It's deceptive. Okay, I got my internet back. All right. We are coming back. Oh, guys, don't forget, get your Mighty Mega Lion for Christmas, available exclusively through me. There's a link pinned to the top of the chat if you're watching live. If not, there's a link in the episode description, or go to MightyMagaLion.com. And, of course, inspired by President Trump. He's got a MAGA hat on, 45 on the side. Very high quality. My wife and I, and Dee from the chat, came up with the concept and designed and had this custom made. That's right. MightyMagaLion.com. Order yours, okay? Absolutely. Oh, what a great day of news. Just what a great day of news. Ireland, welcome. Well, I did before I knew the truth about him, Philip. You know, I mean, we learned the truth about Ron DeSantis. You know, when you learn the truth about someone, yes, yes, yes.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian and Greg.
Oh, man, if you missed the first hour, you missed a lot. I'll recap some of it as the show goes on, but we have so much new stuff. But first, let me take a call or two. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Sarah from Pamela.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. So, I'm actually a combat veteran from Iraq, and I normally love everything you say. I always
Here we go again.
However, I think you might be blowing the whole UA thing a little out of proportion, and the only reason why is, if you're a non-commissioned officer in the military, we all do that. We all have to do that.
No. Hold on a second here. Laura Loomer has obtained his fitness report. Ron DeSantis, okay, I know a lot, second military person, a second veteran calling in. First off, he wasn't non-commissioned. He's an Ivy League educated JAG lawyer and was a commissioned officer of lieutenant. And he has passed himself off first as a Navy SEAL, which we found out was not true. He was a lawyer advising them before on okay. He did a television ad trying to pass himself off as Tom Cruise with the bomber jacket and all of that. And we find out that this lieutenant in 2010 was the assistant urinalysis coordinator according to his fitness report. And what I'm telling you is that's a significant difference from how he's passed himself off in the military.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm not a big DeSantis fan as it is. But no, yeah, I heard it and I was just like, no.
You said as a non-commissioned officer. Why? Why? If a guy, no, I was talking about Richard Blumenthal, Democrat senator. He was telling people for years he was a Vietnam veteran. Then it was found out that he was in the military, but not in Vietnam. And then when he got confronted, he says, "Well, I was a Vietnam era veteran." There's a big difference there.
It's the same thing with people who, try to act like they were Iraq or Afghanistan veterans. They claim global war on terrorism veteran or whatever it's called.
Exactly.
And I've even seen people with Cold War veteran hats on when there wasn't even a war.
I've seen that. Yeah, Cold War veteran. I mean, my goodness. Okay. So Ron DeSantis has been trying to pass himself off as many things in the service that he was not. While this is not stolen valor, Blumenthal wasn't stolen valor, but it's borderline stolen valor, in my opinion. It says right here, assistant urinalysis coordinator. It's in his fitness report from 2010.
Yeah, we did have officers that would facilitate the UA. They didn't necessarily be a part of watching people actually go to the bathroom, but we did have officers that were involved, just not actually. Yeah,
well, do you know of any of those officers that have tried to pass themselves off as combat Navy SEALs and things like this, like Ron DeSantis?
I can't say that I do.
Okay, so don't you say, I'm not disparaging veterans, and I respect Ron DeSantis' service, but he's passing himself off as something he's not in the service.
Yes.
Okay.
Still, I think that if Trump kind of brings it up, he might kind of.
No, I mean, look, Mayor Pete was a lieutenant in the United States Navy, and he didn't go to basic training. How did he get a commission as a lieutenant without going to basic training? He worked in the motor pool and never left the green zone, and he uses his combat zone experience as a badge of honor when the guy never left the motor pool, never left the green zone, and didn't even go to basic training. There's a lot of these professional politicians, while they may have served in the military so they can say they wore the uniform, they inflate their service, their duties, what they did, and that I think is wrong.
No, 100%, I agree, and it's a shame that people have to try to buff up their military.
I'll give you an example with John Kerry. He ran for president in 2004. He Vietnam veteran. Now the Vietnam War ended when I was 4 years old. How much more time did John Kerry spend in Vietnam than I did, being 4 years old when Saigon fell? How much time did he spend in Vietnam? Do you know?
Oh, no.
A tour of duty was 13 months. How long was his tour?
Yeah. I'm not sure.
3 months. And in Vietnam, 3 months John Kerry was in Vietnam. And in Vietnam, they had a policy, 3 Purple Hearts and you're out. Okay? And we had one of the doctors that signed off on his Purple Heart. He had like like almost a paper cut kind of thing. And he put pressure on the doctor to sign it off to get the Purple Heart, to get 3 to get rotated out, okay? And because he was a well-connected person, he was able to push through those Purple Hearts so he could get the hell out after 3 months. And he got out, and his whole identity is he was a Vietnam veteran when it was a racket he was running. So these politicians misrepresent and inflate their military service. Now, I served in the military for the same amount of time as President Clinton, President Obama, and President Trump. I was not in the service. But these guys are inflating, and I believe Ron DeSantis has misrepresented his military service. Do you think he's embarrassed by this fitness report?
I'm sorry, say that again?
You think this fitness report would embarrass him that Loomer got?
Probably. I mean, the fact that he tried to portray himself as a SEAL, that's a very elite group. It's like, you got a lot of Army guys that they get out and they're like, oh, I'm Special Forces, I was this, I was that. I mean, when you lie and you inflate what you did and you brag about what you did, it does come out eventually. It doesn't matter who you are.
Well, when you're running for president, it does. Hey, listen, okay, so we're on the same page now. All right, thank you. All right, take care. Oh, man. Oh boy, oh boy. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
One conservative.
Oh, hey, Doug.
No, the first thing I just want to quickly say thank you for letting everybody know about this Tumo, whatever Timo, that Chinese spyware my daughter had on the phone. She took it out.
Oh, the Timo app. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Anyway, quickly. So Ron just said, what is an attorney doing analyzing urine? I mean, this is
well. He wasn't analyzing. That would involve lab work. He was the assistant urinalysis coordinator at the rank of lieutenant. So, and this was, by the way, in between March and October of 2010. He was in charge of coordinating peeing in cups in 2010. 13 years later, he wants to be the commander-in-chief of all U.S. forces. You know, and listen, everybody, there's a job in the military that, you know, jobs have to get done, but am I exaggerating, or has he misled us on his military service slightly?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. He's trying to do puffery, as they call it in real estate. He's puffing himself up. Meanwhile, this is embarrassing to me. If I was an attorney and they told me to be head of the UNL, I'd say, give me something else to do, man. I can't be.
Now, do you think that Casey DeSantis, do you think she knew that he was the assistant urinalysis coordinator? Did you think she knew that?
She knows now, but I don't think she did.
Nah.
It'd be a turn off, man. That was weird.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with doing that, but passing yourself off as something else in the service, it's borderline. Oh my goodness.
Without a doubt, man, that's very strange. I don't know why he let himself be in that position.
Well, I want to thank and credit the great Laura Loomer for obtaining this fitness report of Ron DeSantis's from 2010 in the Navy.
What goes on behind closed doors, when you find out, you say, wow. You know, so there's all kinds of things that these politicians try to make themselves better than they are. But this is, you know, not the end of the world, but certainly not a very good thing.
Correct. All right, Doug, take care. All right, we'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call this.
Oh, my goodness. Am I being too hard on DeSantis, guys? Let me know. I've had two veterans challenge me on this today. What do you guys think? Yes or no? No? I don't know. If I am, let me know.
Telling you about our 5th annual listener cruise, and you're all invited, except Liberal Al. Liberal Al, you're not invited, but the rest of you are. We leave April 27th on board the Celebrity Beyond, the flagship of celebrity cruises. We're going to the ABC Islands, Curacao, Bonaire, and Aruba. We have shore excursions at every...
Oh, man, oh, man.
Private cocktail parties. We'll go to Broadway shows together and dance till the clubs close every night. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot and book your reservation at 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
Now you can rediscover paradise with Margaritaville at Sea, the only cruise line offering sailings from the Port of Palm Beach to Grand Bahama Island. Relish a cheeseburger in paradise at the open-air burger bar.
Welcome. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, guys.
Revitalize the night with live musical performances and refreshing Caribbean breezes. From pickleball to...
And everyone, please like the video. That helps spread the word about the channel.
Come see for yourself why
Well, thank you, loves. Thank you.
Paradise. Go to margaritavillasea.com to learn more and get a great deal on your next Bahamas cruise.
This is John from Lighthouse Medical Center, CFO and Director of Neuropathy. We want to welcome you to Lighthouse Medical Center this year. It's our 75th anniversary, and we've been able to help a lot of patients. We want to be able to help you with your neuropathy issues as well. If you have numbness, burning, pain, tingling, lack of sleep, or balance issues, please come see us and let us help you with that problem. There's hope out there for you. We've had thousands of patients come through Lighthouse Medical Center. Being able to see the quality improved in their life and being able to help them and their family has been a blessing to us and a blessing to them, and we look forward to doing that for the next 75 years. We don't just treat neuropathy at Lighthouse Medical Center. We have a specialized knee pain program with non-surgical solutions for bone-on-bone and knee pain issues. We also treat chronic back pain, ankle, knee, hip, and shoulder pain. Call for a free consultation with us today. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies.
All right, we're talking about Governor Ron DeSantis, or DeSantis. Oh my goodness, that name just lends itself to so many. Ron DeSantis. Yes, yes, yes. That's a good one. I think that's what you meant, wasn't it, Mike? Ron P. I said Ron P. DeSantis. Yes, Mike, our board op, came up with this. Okay, I just misheard when he said Ron DeSantis. That's a good one. Now, I've already had two veterans who have called taking issue with me over this, but I think at the end of the call, they agreed with me. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. Once. Yes, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Yes. Hey, yes, Elizabeth. What's on your mind?
Calling from Palm Beach Gardens. Hey.
I'm in Palm Beach Gardens. Speaking. Well, wow.
Hey, just anyhow. I'm a boat star mother. My son was in military. He was 25 when he was killed in Afghanistan. He worked with the SEALs, and he was. I don't want to be too on spot about this because I don't want to badmouth anything, but he was falsely identified as a Navy SEAL. He was attached to the Navy SEALs. My son was a cryptologist, and he was killed with SEAL Team 6 in Afghanistan in 2011.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thank you. There's a lot of people out there that want to claim that they're SEALs. I don't understand it. If you're in the military, you're a hero to me.
Well, this thing with Ron DeSantis, okay? Obviously, I don't like Ron DeSantis, okay? He betrayed Donald Trump. He betrayed us all. He lied to all of us in Florida. If he would have pulled this nonsense before the election, Charlie Crist would be the governor of Florida today. At least he'd be here in the state governing as opposed to DeSantis. I'm telling you this. I respect Ron DeSantis' military service as I respect everyone's military service, okay? But he has passed himself off implying that he's a lot of things he was not in the service, okay? And a lot of people, he's never said he was a Navy SEAL, but a lot of people, he hasn't really clarified that. I've had people call me on this show who thought he was a Navy SEAL, okay? Just like Jill Biden goes by Dr. Jill Biden, and a lot of people think she's a medical doctor. Whoopi Goldberg wanted to make her Surgeon General. She's a doctor of education, and by the way, she got her doctorate from the University of Delaware through a college there that's named after her husband, okay? You really think she really had to work hard on that dissertation? I doubt it. You know, it's practically a mail order degree she got, but she passes herself off as a doctor. The only people that call themselves doctor outside of the college classroom are medical doctors and people like that, not college professors that are PhDs and such, and EDDs, which is what she is. And what I'm talking about with Ron DeSantis, he's done with his military service similar to what Jill Biden does. She does have a doctorate, but she wants people to think she's another kind of doctor than she really is. And I think Ron DeSantis has done that. What are your thoughts?
I totally agree with you. First of all, I am a Trump supporter. Second of all, Ron DeSantis let me down. Third of all, I was all about. He was in the military. I believe he was in two different branches.
No, he was in the he was in the Navy. DeSantis was in the Navy.
Just the Navy.
Yeah, but he was a JAG officer, a Navy attorney who was he was assigned to the SEALs as a legal liaison. Like before they would take out a military action, they would run it by him to make sure it was legal. He was also involved in some of the interrogations in Guantanamo Bay. He was involved down there too. But in his spare time, he was the assistant urination collector. And I'm not making fun of any. Listen, someone's got to clean the garbage cans. I get that. But they don't run around dressed like Tom Cruise and do Top Gov ads or things like that. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I totally understand. I learned so much from listening to your show. I almost lost faith and everything. I'm new to Florida, basically new, a couple of years. And I was a police officer also. But I'm new to your show, and I voted for Trump.
Welcome.
And I will vote for him again.
well, welcome to the program. Where'd you move from?
Philadelphia.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, I made the mistake of walking the streets of Philadelphia at night once when I was younger, and it wasn't, it was, the only person more terrified than me was my girlfriend at the time. She's like, Brian, what did you do? What'd you do? Where are we going? We're not white people aren't supposed to be walking at this part of the town at, 1 a.m. Yeah, I know, but we survived.
We used to have a name for them in the police department. I forget what.
Stupid white boy, I think is what.
No, DC numbers.
Oh.
DC numbers waiting happen. DC numbers, a crime number.
Yeah. Well, listen, welcome to Florida. Welcome to Florida, and welcome to our radio station.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you very much.
All right, take care. Right here in Palm Beach Gardens. We could talk to her with a string to a couple of tin cans. She's right down the street from the radio station. All right, now listen, after the bottom of the hour, I'm going to get into some other things because a lot of things have happened. But you're welcome to call in on anything that I brought up so far. The first half of the show has flown by. I feel like I just walked into the studio, like I've literally been here. It feels like one segment, not 90 minutes have gone by. This is amazing. All right, our number's toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. What I was doing when I was walking Philadelphia at night, I was looking for some places where they filmed Rocky. And I was also looking for this time capsule that they buried in 1976 in the street, and I just got lost, and it was stupid. And it was a long time ago, because it was long before I was married. There was no Uber. Only Wall Street guys had cell phones, and it was a mess. Oh, my goodness. I never went back. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE1 is our number, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It is Monday morning. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll break and be right back.
Making morning radio great again.
Oh, my.
Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Where is... Where
We're off to a great start. So today, volatile, we have a marginal risk for severe storms. Already saw a few storms pretty strong, and we're going to see that due to deep set tropical moisture in the area.
I forgot to do a commercial in that segment. Oh my goodness.
Storms throughout the course of the afternoon and evening as well. And WPVF 25 First Warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw. Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1.
I'll have to make it up this segment.
Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County.
Welcome, everyone. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and everyone like the video as well. That helps spread the word about the channel.
Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
In West Palm Beach, a disabled vehicle has the right shoulder blocked on I-95 to the south by Mr. Okeechobee Boulevard. Further south in Broward County, a multi-vehicle crash just popping up on 595 southbound, westbound on the Rancho Flamingo Road. Multiple lanes are blocked, so be sure to use caution on the approach there. As for the shorter streets, we are still incident free at this time with some buildups on Southern Boulevard eastbound coming from the bridge. Further south into Broward County, a multi-vehicle crash on 441 at Taft Street. This report is sponsored by Boost Infinite. Hey, if you're thinking of getting the latest iPhone, you need to stop and check out the insane, amazing wireless offer for Boost Infinite. To learn all about it, just pick up your phone, dial pound 350 and say Boost Infinite. You'll have the option to receive a one-time auto-dial text message from iHeartMedia. That's traffic on Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. The poker room at PBKC features daily cash games, mega bad beat jackpots, big money tournaments, and high hands every 20 minutes from 9 a.m. to midnight. And tournament players earn points towards cash prizes and big buy-ins. Visit our newly expanded casino table game area with Ultimate Texas Hold'em and 3-card poker with just a $5 minimum 7 days a week. For more information, go to pbkennelclub.com.
If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. Tom Laporta will give you
I'm reading a post of President Trump's.
contractor and best roofers in South Florida. He's honest, knowledgeable, and
I'm going to talk about when we get back.
sell you a roof you don't need. If you have an insurance claim, call your insurance company immediately. Then call Tom Laporta. New laws are in effect that allow Tom to negotiate directly with your insurance company on the cost of all repairs, so you don't necessarily need to
The whiz expert, yes.
lawyer. Tom
He's a whiz, yes.
roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com.
Hi, it's Kate from Will For You.
Where am I? There we are.
Jupiter showroom is now up and running and filled with awesome
Oh boy, guys.
like comfy carpeting, waterproof luxury vinyl, and engineered wood planks. From Karastan, America's premier flooring brand. We've expanded our selection of Karastan products.
Have you guys
with our Jupiter
gotten your Mighty Maga line yet? The link is pinned in the chat. Oh, it's got my mic wire on it. The link to buy this is pinned in the chat. There's a link in the description, or go to mightymagalion.com and get your Trump line, okay? It's the Mighty Maga Lion at mightymagalion.com, all right?
store location in Jupiter. They are all on sale at your lowest prices ever. You'll be floored at the savings during this special event. I invite you to visit us in Jupiter in the shops of Jonathan's Landing next to Publix. In Stewart on Federal
Thank you,
Highway,
Rome.
just south of Walmart. And Will Floor, the letter U, FLA.com. Will Floor U, your hometown flooring store that has it all for over 40 years.
Brian Craig here. When it comes time to get my blood work done, I don't have time to spend hours in the doctor's office or waiting hours in one of those big labs. That's why I do any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs for all of my lab work. The techs are highly skilled and professional, and they're
Everybody beats the whiz. That's a good one.
focused on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary.
Flowchart. Oh my goodness.
They're not needed either.
DeSantis just pissed you off? Oh my goodness.
Results the next day in the mail. They also send to my doctor. There's lots of any lab test styles around, but these are the only two advertised.
No, I've had 2 veterans and a Gold Star mom call in about it. I'm not going to move on until I want to. I am moving on, but not because you say so. Huh.
Between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard on the east side of State Road 7, 441. Any lab test now at Coral Springs is on the southeast corner of beautiful Steve Bramblewood on the Coral Square Mall.
Thank you, Bruce.
Lab test now at Boca at 561-237-5009.
Yeah, make sure you, just to be safe, DM me on the Twitter, Bruce, just to be safe on that. Yours is going out first, Bruce. Yeah, Kathy has told me about the new address, but just DM me, just to be safe. Yeah, I've never done anything like this before, so. The Washington Wizards, there you go. Yeah, Freedom Soup's got a lot of.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right. Oh, man, have we covered a lot on the program today? Oh, boy. President Trump posted last night on Truth Social something about the media. And this is, I'm going to read through this. It's a long post on Truth Social. But I want to read this and then ask your thoughts on it. By the way, the president is speaking today. I believe it's in South Carolina. Is it South Carolina? Yeah, that'll be good. And South Carolina, you know, Ron DeSantis, last I saw, was at 8 or 9 points in South Carolina. Isn't that 8 or 9? It was last week I had that poll. So this is President Trump on Truth Social talking about the fake news corporate media. He says, they are almost all dishonest and corrupt, but Comcast, with its one-side and vicious coverage by NBC News, and in particular MSNBC, often and correctly referred to as MSDNC, should be investigated for its country-threatening treason. So President Trump is saying that NBC News, MSNBC in particular, should be investigated for treason. Their endless coverage of the now fully debunked scam known as Russia, 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 and much else is one big campaign contribution to the radical left Democrat Party. And then this is President Trump on Truth Social last night. I say up front, openly and proudly, that when I win the presidency of the United States, they, NBC, MSNBC, they and others of the lamestream media will be thoroughly scrutinized for their knowingly dishonest and corrupt coverage of people, things, and events. Why should NBC or any other of the corrupt and dishonest media companies be entitled to use the very valuable airwaves of the USA free? They are a true threat to democracy and are, in fact, the enemy of the people. The fake news media should pay a big price for what they have done to our once great country. Now, what are your thoughts on that, investigating the media? What are your thoughts on that? You know, the problem with the news is this, is that they are a fraud. They claim to be something that they're not. And MSNBC in particular, I agree with President Trump on this, because I really don't watch TV news except when there's breaking news. Like I watched it all on Friday when the Menendez indictment came through, okay? I watched MSNBC, CNN, and even Fox, as I wanted to see their coverage of it because it was breaking news, okay? And MSNBC, I've watched, when I do watch cable news for things, I've watched MSNBC more lately than before because of my Fox News personal boycott I'm doing. And it's an infomercial. It is an infomercial. They should have a disclaimer. The following programming is paid for by the DNC. They really should. It's false advertisement what they're doing. They are not a news organization. They're a Democrat deep state infomercial. Now, the others aren't much better, but they're the worst of all of them. And I got to tell you, when they had that racial crime in Wisconsin, remember, after the Rittenhouse verdict, a black man drove his SUV through that Christmas parade and killed a bunch of white people. Remember that? That was a racial crime. And at the time it was being discussed what was Joy Reid's role in that, because she was talking about the racial injustice of Rittenhouse. Now keep in mind, Rittenhouse, who was acquitted of shooting people dead in self-defense, everyone he shot was white. But somehow the left convinced themselves that those white people were black, even though they were all white, the ones that tried to kill Kyle Rittenhouse. And when that Christmas parade massacre happened in Wisconsin after the Rittenhouse verdict, there was a lot of talk for about 2 days about MSNBC, in particular Joy Reid's role in that. And then it was dropped, and we haven't heard anything else about that. And they had a false narrative, by the way, that he was running from the police in a high-speed chase. Turns out that was not true. So while normally that might sound crazy, if you're on the air calling like, we're not news. We talk about the news, but you don't hear me say I'm the news. We discuss the news. This is editorial content. But if I was passing myself off as the news and then talking the way I do, well, that would be different, wouldn't it? And that's what NBC is doing. You know, I talk about this new woman on Meet the Press, family's big Democrat donor. She spent Christmas morning at the White House with the Obamas when they had little kids at home. Come on. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Andrea.
Hey, Andrea, what's up?
Oh, I 100% agree. The MSN needs to be destroyed. Destroyed. Non-existent. Non-existent. And it's actually happening because what you're seeing is people are no longer really going there because they know it's just...
Well, you know, there was a time, listen, most people in media have been Democrats, but they used to be, like in the Second World War, before the Normandy invasion, okay, President Roosevelt brought all the major media people into the White House and told them about the D-Day invasion in detail before it happened, and they kept their mouths shut. They used to wear uniforms, like Army uniforms. Remember in the Second, you know, and what have they become now? They're working for America's enemies now. You know, I'll give you an example of this, okay? In the war on terror, the media did two things that got a lot of people killed. One, the liberal media, and I'm 98% sure which media outlet reported this, but it's been over 20 years, so I'm not 100%, just 98%, but it was the liberal media. One of the major liberal media organizations, which has been, you know, mentioned constantly when you're talking about the media, let out classified information to the world, and it wasn't in the war on terror during Operation Iraqi Freedom. During Operation Iraqi Freedom, the mainstream media, there were two major stories that were classified information that they put out there publicly, and I don't know how many people are dead and maimed because of it. One of them, they report, because they hated George W. Bush, they reported that American Humvees did not have armor underneath. And that's when the IED started. So every time you see a wounded warrior from an IED, the media did that because they let everybody know the weak point. Think about that. The weak point on the Humvees, that they weren't armored underneath. Because IEDs had not been, that's crazy. How many people died or are severely wounded because of that? And the media reported that like it was important to point out during combat operations.
Well, that's what I'm for. Charge them all. Charge them.
I'll give you another one. During Afghanistan. Afghanistan went on for 20 years. You know, we almost got bin Laden in the Battle of Tora Bora. They almost had him. They were close. And then the mainstream American media reported to the world that the United States was tracking bin Laden during the Tora Bora battle as it was going on through his satellite phone. So he threw the satellite phone away and started using the Pony Express over there, and and we didn't get bin Laden for many years. The media reported that. If these, in the Second World War, like I told you, they were told the details of the Normandy invasion before it happened. They kept their mouths shut. But now we had embedded military in both of these, embedded press with the military in both of these operations. And they went public with classified information that got a lot of people killed.
And you're correct. But when did this really ramp up, Brian? When did all the propaganda really ramp up? You know what? When Barack Obama was in office. Barack Obama made all this possible.
Well, the media have always been against Republicans but it got worse when after the 2000 election, after 9/11, it got worse, and yeah, I agree. All right, Andrea, thank you. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Cynthia from Martin County.
Hey, Cynthia.
Patriots and MAGA. I just wanted to make a comment to people who continue to comment on President Trump and his war. Okay, we never had a war those 4 years, and he is against war. He wants to secure our country, and he did that very well. And look at what's happened in Ukraine.
Ukraine now is the Clinton Foundation has a new initiative. They're going to Ukraine. Airbnb. Do not stay at an Airbnb. They are woke. Read what J.D. Vance made a comment on it. I just did some research.
What did wait a minute. What did Airbnb do that we should stay away from them?
Right now, it's a comment on the feud in the military. Well, here's what's happened. They have gone in with the Clintons, okay, and they are now helping the Ukrainians house them. Well, they're all getting rich off of this, as J.D. Vance said. 5 years from now, we're going to find that lots of people have gotten rich off the Ukraine war. Why would we be surprised? It's
Yeah.
the same people, okay? And listen, we wrote a Patriot shopping list. 2 of my members, I mean, when I tell you how conclusive it is amazing in 2020 after the election. You wouldn't believe it. I will be handing it out at our event. It tells you what companies are woke. And the evidence is all there, and you do not need to shop at those places. We have to starve these people. We have to build our own community, our own MAGA, our own companies. And that's why, I'll tell you, you should go to the new place called Public Square.
Yeah.
That Don Jr. went public and all that, because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who cleaned the cloth, Marie Bartiromo. I mean, who's a member.
Well, I'm glad you brought that. Yeah, I watched that. Maria Bartiromo had Matt Gaetz on to defend her boy over there, Kevin McCarthy, and Matt Gaetz stood up to her like he stood up to Kevin McCarthy. Listen, Cynthia, I got to run for our break, but thanks for the call from Martin County. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire and Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road, because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or mount the tire. They have thousands of used tires in stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
Love the outdoors and the open road? Don't miss RV Out. Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Hosted by Giant Recreation World Second Generation owner and CEO Larry McNamara and his co-host Blaine Adams. RV Out. Saturday mornings 10 a.m. right here on the True Oldies Channel.
Brian Craig here with a question for seniors and those who care about them.
Ugh.
Now you can rediscover paradise with Margaritaville at Sea, the only cruise line offering sailings from the port of Palm Beach to Grand Bahama Island. Relish a cheeseburger in paradise at the open-air burger bar. Relax your senses at the St. Somewhere Spa. Or revitalize the night with live musical performances and refreshing Caribbean breezes. From pickleball to piano bar and everything in between. Come see for yourself why guests are loving the newly refreshed Margaritaville at Sea paradise. Go to margaritavilleatsea.com to learn more and get a great deal on your next Bahamas cruise.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. There's been some big developments with Zelensky and Ukraine since we were here on Friday, which I'm going to get to in a moment. But first, I want to tell you about Dr. Philip Appleton. He's my chiropractor, and he can be your chiropractic physician too. His laser wave pain treatment is a miracle. It really is. He's rid me of pain 5 times. You know, I was doing some work around the house yesterday, and we got rid of some old furniture on our back porch. And this one table, it had been on our back porch for so long, and I haven't done anything with it other than scoot it around, but we decided to throw it out. And I went to pick it up, and it weighed a ton. I was like, oh my goodness, this thing was so heavy. I couldn't pick it up like a normal table. So the way I picked it up is I knelt down and I put my shoulder underneath it and picked it up by putting the table on my shoulder and walked it out to the curb for the bulk pickup on my shoulder. Well, you may remember a few weeks back I was telling you that I was in so much shoulder pain I was basically in tears. I felt like from my skateboard accident that while I was on the air, I felt like on the side of my shoulder I'd been punched by Tyson, and in the front, like someone had stabbed me with a steak knife, left the knife in, and was cutting the muscles inside my shoulder while I was broadcasting. It was that much pain. I went and saw Dr. Appleton for his laser wave pain treatment. The pain's gone. I would not have been able to do what I did yesterday with this table in my shoulder if it were not for Dr. Philip Appleton. And, you know, I know a lot of you, like I did yesterday, do a lot of things over the weekends that you don't do during the week. Work around the house like I was doing, sports, whatever. And Monday comes around and you're in pain. Listen, pain, you don't have to live with pain, and you certainly don't have to take medications to mask the pain. Go see Dr. Appleton and take advantage of his laser wave pain treatment. Remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome. Every day, Monday through Saturday. So if you're in pain today, go see him today. You can find Dr. Appleton online at AppletonChiro.com or call 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. Make sure you tell Dr. Appleton you heard about him on the radio. Okay, so a lot has happened involving Zelensky and Ukraine since we last talked. Several things, and I'm going to go through them all real quick here. One, which Kevin McCarthy should be removed as the Speaker of the House immediately. I hope this happens. First he said last week, with all this budget talk, that they were going to withhold Ukraine funding through the Pentagon spending. And then the next day, was it either Friday or Saturday, Kevin McCarthy I think Friday he said he was going to stop the Ukraine funding by cutting it off through the Pentagon, because a lot of it, because it's weapons and stuff, is done through the Pentagon. Then Saturday he says, oh, that's too difficult, we're not going to do that, they're going to get everything. Really? It's too difficult? What's difficult about it? What are you doing? I mean, what is that? So he's a liar, and he's funding Ukraine when he has vowed many times not to do it. Then, Zelensky is over here demanding money. He's not even asking for it anymore. He's walking around, give me my money, you owe me, And I noticed when he spoke to the UN, he's been practicing his English. And I shared on Friday, and I imagine some of you went and saw this, Ukrainian television aired video of Zelensky's speech, and it was a propaganda video. When they showed the audience, you could see Zelensky in the audience watching while he was speaking. And what had happened is the crowd at the UN when he was speaking this time wasn't a full house. So they edited some old footage they had, and Zelensky was in the audience. It was pretty embarrassing. Then, over the weekend, while in New York, one of Zelensky's entourage went to a bar in New York City. Did you hear about this? This is insane. Listen to this. So, this was one of Zelensky's top entourage goes into a bar and in New York City and demands that everyone in the bar shout out support for Ukraine. I support Ukraine. People refused, and he started a bar fight over this in New York City and was arrested. Did you see that in the news? No. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? The arrogance, the entitlement. Then, I'm not done. There's two more things, and I'm saving the most recent was Zelensky for last. Then over the weekend, Poland did two things. One, Poland has cut off all aid and assistance to Ukraine. All aid and assistance cut off. No more money, no more weapons from Poland to Ukraine. Also, they've closed their border, no more refugees, because they were out there trashing Poland to the World Trade Organization. Isn't that nice? Then Poland sent one of their members of parliament to the Ukrainian embassy with a bill for all the money that Poland, which was several billion, has given to Ukraine. Isn't that something? Yeah. The world is tired of Zelensky. So then he goes to Canada demanding money. Did you see what Zelensky did in Canada with Trudeau? Oh, yeah. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is in Breitbart. This is the latest of the... This is everything I just shared with you has happened over the weekend. This is in Breitbart. The Canadian Parliament, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and Ukrainian President Zelensky gave a standing ovation to a former Nazi soldier. Following addresses to the Parliament in Ottawa on Friday from both Trudeau and Zelensky, the Speaker of the Canadian House of Commons, Anthony Rota, prompted a standing ovation as he honored a veteran from the Second World War who fought for Ukrainian independence against the Russians and continues to support the troop today at the age of 98. His name, which I'm going to mispronounce because it's a Ukrainian name, his name is Yaroslav Hunka. Okay? He's a Ukrainian hero. He's a Canadian hero. We thank him for his service. And then Zelensky and the rest gave him a standing ovation. In the caption of the photograph published by the Associated Press, it shows Zelensky and Trudeau standing and applauding Hunka, okay, this immigrant to Canada. The Newswire service identified him as a former member of the 1st Ukrainian Division in World War II. The division is also known as the 14th Waffen Division of the SS. A division of the SS comprised mostly of Ukrainian volunteers. The guy is so Zelensky over the weekend honored and gave a standing O to a former SS soldier. Where's that in the news? And if Breitbart knows it, you don't think Zelensky and his people knew it? Despite the International Military Tribunal, this is back to Breitbart, in Nuremberg in 1946, concluding that the Waffen-SS was guilty of many massacres and atrocities in occupied territories, the government of Canada in 1950 decided to allow Canadians who served in the SS to be admitted to the country from the UK. So they had to know about this. The guys, and I know he's old, but hey, once SS, always SS. That's why he's in Canada. He was escaping prosecution in Germany or Ukraine or wherever he was held up at the time. My goodness. So everything I just shared happened to... Could you imagine if President Trump with someone gave a standing ovation to a man who had been a soldier of the SS? You wouldn't be hearing it first from me, okay? You'd be hearing it nonstop on all of the fake news media. And, you know, I'm not the only person that knows about this. This is reported in Breitbart. Everyone at Fox News reads Breitbart. So everyone knows about this. Everyone knows about this. You don't think there was some vetting done by the Canadians before they honored this guy? They knew exactly who he was and what his background was. Remember when Ronald Reagan went to Germany and put a wreath on a grave, and there were Nazis in that cemetery, and they were calling him a Nazi, saying he honored Nazis? Try to find a veteran cemetery in the 1980s in Germany that doesn't have Nazis in it. Zelensky gave a standing ovation to a member of the SS. Are you kidding me? It's disgusting. Now, Medicare open enrollment is right around the corner, and Debbie from I Will Advisors, who handles Steve's Medicare, and her family have been with us here on the Steve Kane Show since 93, 94, helping with the Medicare needs of people in this audience. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors. Set up your appointment. This is the only time of year that you can make changes to your Medicare policy. She'll review everything. Make sure your prescriptions are covered next year, your doctors, your specialist, your pharmacy, everything. Give her a call. No matter where you are in the state of Florida, Debbie from I Will Advisors can help. 954-753-8080. She reviews Steve's every year, and she saved him over $2,000 a month last year, right, on one of his prescriptions. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. Make sure you tell her you heard about her on the radio, okay? 954-753-8080. We'll be right back.
Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Robe Studio. Injured recently? Call the Robes Law Group, where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700.
My goodness, guys.
Winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created. Here's the oldies forecast.
Good Monday morning, everybody. Hope you're off to a great start. So today, volatile, we have a marginal risk for severe storms. Already saw a few storms overnight, pretty strong. And we're going to see that due to deep set tropical moisture in the area. A little daytime heating and a disturbance is going to really mean widespread storms throughout the course of the afternoon and evening as well. And WPBF 25 First Warning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best
Oh, man. It's crazy. Have any of you heard that story about Zelensky applauding the Nazi in Canada? Have you seen that in any of the mainstream media?
Further south into Broward County, I-75 heading northbound just before immediate trace. Emergency vehicles are now blocking that left lane. I-95 heading northbound at State Road 84. A disabled vehicle has the right lane blocked as well, with stopping and going to Active Griffin. This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's knows fall is the perfect time for outdoor projects. Right now, you can keep your yard looking its best and save. Take care of leaves with leaf blowers starting at just $89.98. Lowe's knows home improvement while supplies last. See store for details. That's traffic numbers for.
Where are we?
Traffic, a
There.
service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. PBKC's dinner and comedy show season is coming up with amazing events live in the paddock. Enjoy an amazing dinner with Notre Dame football Hall of Fame coach Lou Holtz on Wednesday, October 4th. Or see the Rat Pack now on Friday, October the 20th. Let It Be ultimate tribute to the Beatles on November 17th. Plus, December features Andrew Dice Clay, Jackie Martling, memories of Elvis, and much more. For more information or buy tickets, go to pbkennelclub.com.
Here's your True Oldies ABC News update.
ABC News now, I'm Tom Rivers. After 5 straight days of negotiations, representatives for the TV and movie studios and striking writers hammered out a tentative deal to end the strike. Final language needs to be approved. There are several votes needed by WGA leadership, and then
Oh, my goodness. It wasn't Zelensky in the bar. It was, I retweeted that over the weekend, that story. it was one of his entourage in the bar.
Outdoors and the open road. Don't miss RV Hour. Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Second generation owner and CEO Larry McNamara and his co-host Blaine Adams. RV Hour.
All right, we're coming back.
Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. right here on the True Oldies Channel.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Kreb.
All right, the show flying by on this Monday. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve joining us. Hey, Steve. Oh my goodness, a lot's been going on. I mean, it's I got to recap some of the stories I've started with today, Steve, because I've had so many new and breaking stories that people that are just tuning in. I didn't say he's a Nazi. I said he gave a standing ovation with Justin Trudeau in the Canadian Parliament to a Nazi.
To be with the Nazis, so I'd like to find out more about that.
That's all there is at this point, Steve.
Just go to the phones.
Well, I'll let people call in with that if they like at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. I didn't say he is a Nazi. He was applauding a Nazi. So that's it's in Breitbart. I don't know. I mean, I would hope that the Canadians did not know that the guy used to be in the SS, but I would think that Breitbart has the story. Breitbart, that's where I got the story.
None of the major news stories?
The only place I've seen it.
This is here.
No, Breitbart reported the story. It says here, Zelensky and Trudeau, I'll give out the numbers, Steve. They're not always so busy. They're not busy at the moment, but they will be. Why are you mad at the messenger? I didn't make the story up, Steve. It's in Breitbart. I read Breitbart every day. You should. You should. I mean, it's got a great history of people there, like Andrew Breitbart, its founder. Steve Bannon used to run Breitbart, so, there's lots of, it's, and I'll tell you, if Breitbart knew about it, I would hope that the Canadians would have known about it. And, they even got pictures of him. I don't know why you're more mad at me for bringing it up than you are the Nazi. Steve, I can tell by your tone. I guess you want me not to report the stories that make Zelensky look bad. I don't know. Your tone, Steve. I've known you for 30 years and you sound pissed, which I don't know why you're pissed. I didn't make this up. It's here. There's photographs of him in the SS uniform. All right, well, now I would before we go to the phones, you're all welcome to call in on this. I didn't make the story up, Steve. It's being reported. I just shouldn't share it. Well, if we're giving billions of dollars to a guy that applauds Nazis, I think his judgment is into question here. That you should find out who people are before you celebrate them, right? I mean, I don't know. It just seems to me that I find it hard to believe the Canadians didn't know because apparently, because it hasn't been where you've been watching. I just saw this.
I've heard you talk about it.
Well, I think it's important, Steve. If you get, but I'll let the audience decide if they think it's relevant at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Now, in some other news, I just want to recap a couple things, though, before we go back to the phones, okay? And there's a couple openings today at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. One, over the weekend, there was a massive new poll that came out through the Washington Post that has all kinds of very good information moving forward with Trump. You may have heard the part that Trump has a 10-point lead over Biden in the latest Washington Post poll. No, these are all cooking stories, Steve. They're all cooking. I mean, I can't, throw things by you on the air to find until you're interested. I mean, you gotta, come on, Steve. But Trump is 10 points ahead of Biden in the latest poll. But what has set the liberals off in that poll more than anything is his polling among blacks and Hispanics. He's polling 20 against with blacks. He has 20% of black voters behind him now, and in 2020, Trump had just 8. So he's and the black voter block, that is massive. He went from 8 Donald Trump to 20 in the latest poll, which is huge. Among Hispanics, Trump is at 42, and in 2020 he was at 30. So he's gone up big time with both blacks and Hispanics. And that is huge because that has an impact not just over the presidential race, but that has an effect on local races like House races, governors, and things like that that are up, and maybe even in the Senate. All right, so our number is 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Jersey Mike calling you from West Palm Beach.
Yes.
I want to talk to you a little bit about DeSantis. I thought he was a great guy, so far as a governor for Florida. And I'm a Vietnam veteran. And I object very strongly, along with probably the other veterans I've called earlier, for a man to pass themselves off the way he has, as you pointed out earlier in the show, I think is despicable. Even though I like him as a governor and a lot of the good things he's done, that's the wrong thing to do. And I would tell you, the other veterans that are out there in the crowd today listening would agree with me 100%.
Well, let me recap this one. Okay, did you hear this one earlier, Steve? Okay, now this is. Oh, well, I'm glad. I mean, Steve, come on. I mean, I appreciate you coming on at 8, telling me you're disinterested in everything I talk about 2 days in a row. It's great motivation to get through the show. I can tell, Steve. I can tell by your tone you did not like the Zelensky Nazis. But let me recap this thing now with Ron DeSantis. This came courtesy of Laura Loomer, and Laura Loomer obtained one of Ron DeSantis's fitness reports from his commanding officer. Okay, from 2010. And I don't attack anyone's military service or anything. I'm not, and I respect his service. However, Ron DeSantis has been passing himself off as something he wasn't quite in the military, all right? First, he tried to pass himself off as a Navy SEAL, and then we found out he was an attorney who would advise them before they took military action on whether it was legal to kill certain people before an action. Then he did that Top Gov ad trying to pass himself off as a Tom Cruise naval aviator. And Laura Loomer has obtained one of Ron DeSantis' fitness reports, and this is from between the months of March and October 2010. And this, I believe, was given to Laura Loomer by the Trump people, okay? And in this fitness report, it tells us what he really did in the Navy. And at the bottom of the fitness report, it says primary collateral and watch standing duties. And his commanding officer wrote this: general attorney, okay, which we know because he was an attorney, collateral duties, active duty coordinator, facilities coordinator, and assistant urinalysis coordinator. Assistant urinalysis coordinator. It's written right there on his fitness report. And while I'm not accusing him of stolen valor, I'm accusing him of borderline stolen valor, like Senator Blumenthal, who claimed to be a Vietnam veteran and he never was in Vietnam.
Excuse me. It is enhancing his resume.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what and I've had, prior to you, I had a Gold Star mother and 2 veterans call in. The first 2 veterans were upset with me until I explained this to them. So what are your thoughts on finding out that, do you think that his wife knew that he was the assistant urinalysis coordinator? I've left you both speechless.
Yeah, no, I'm not speechless. I haven't had a chance to talk yet. But I would say this. His name should be Peeman DeSantis. That's a good name. Like Seaman? Well, guess what?
Oh, Peeman.
Or Macho. I went to Coronado to become a SEAL, and I couldn't make the cut because only one in like 200-300 guys make that cut in California, and I couldn't do it. But I was in the Navy, and I'm going to tell you something. Me and the other veterans that are out there have heard, if they've heard what you said before, and you repeated it just now, would strongly object to this man trying to pass himself off as a, as you put it, military, whatever you call him, but which is.
Well, he even said, listen. When I look at this, okay, he was calling out. He did an interview late last week, Ron DeSantis. I can't remember who it was with. It was one of the liberal networks. And he was attacking Trump. He says, I was in Iraq when, this. And I understand that there's a lot of jobs in the military, and some are more interesting than others, okay? And collecting people's pee is not it's not something you would go around and make ads about. But I think it's hard. It's unusual. I don't know. I served in the military for the same amount of time as President Clinton and President Obama. But to me, it seems unusual that an Ivy League graduate, full naval lieutenant, who's an officer with the Judge Advocate General's Corps, is not even the head collector of pee. He's the assistant collector of urine. So I mean, it just doesn't. There's something stinks about that. How did a guy who's a full naval lieutenant and a JAG officer end up being the assistant pee collector? Does that sound like a punishment for someone at that rank?
I would say that it's certainly degrading a situation. I wouldn't brag about it, that's for sure. Let me just go back to the service, okay? There's a lot of veterans that listen to your show because, I know who they are. There's a lot of my fellow men that were in Vietnam. If they heard your show this morning, there'd be an outrage over this guy. Or even though he's done a lot of great things for the state of Florida, I think he's a great.
Well, I would compare it. I use Blumenthal, and I also would compare Mayor Pete. Okay, Mayor Pete was also a naval lieutenant. He, because of his connections, he avoided basic training, and he was assigned to the motor pool, and I can't remember if it was Iraq or Afghanistan. He never left the green zone, and he ran around running for president too. Using his military service when he avoided boot camp and never left the green zone, okay? And he served, but there's something odd to avoid basic training. I don't know how that happens. But you put these two guys together, this is why they hate Trump. These other people, okay, these other people like DeSantis, like Mayor Pete, are groomed from a young age to hold office. And they get them this job and that job, so that they have a resume enhancement. I served, I wore the uniform, I was in Iraq, I was in Afghanistan. And then because of the internet, there's a lot of things we find out about these guys that we never would have known before, right? Like if it wasn't for the internet, this story about him being the assistant pee collector, we wouldn't know about that. If it wasn't for the internet, we wouldn't have known that Mayor Pete avoided basic training, which I didn't even know was possible. How do you not go to,
our best President Trump, how great he was. He, for the veterans, passed a law that said anybody who has an appointment set more than 28 days must be seen in the community as opposed to the VA because veterans were dying of coronary problems, heart attacks, etc. And who changed that law on behalf of the veterans? So every veteran out there, I wouldn't understand unless they didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
we realized that this man knew what he was doing. Let me throw one last thing out about Trump, okay?
Real quick, we're late for the break.
He was running business. You know what the price of gas was, okay? It was under $2. A 2-pound package of hamburger was a couple of bucks. And you know what? There's millions of people across the country who eat a lot of hamburger. Today in the buying, it's $10 in Publix.
Yeah, I know. It's yeah. Well, listen, we got to run. We got to run. We're very late for the break, but listen, thanks for your call. All right, and I appreciate it. Take care. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
If you're suffering from burning, tingling, or numb feet, you need to pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Darren Lastovsky, DC, owner of Pivotal Health and Wellness. Dr. Lastovsky, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is actually nerve damage to the legs and feet.
And what are the symptoms?
The major symptoms are numbness, tingling, burning, muscle cramps, coldness in hands or feet, and problems with balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It is treatable.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. Before we get back to Ron DeSantis, I like that one. Oh my goodness. That name just lends itself to so many jokes. I want to first talk about Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. He's been with us here on the Steve Kane Show for many, many years, and I know a lot of you know that because he's your dentist, Steve. Yeah. I mean, you know, the two things about Dr. Gupta that I think are, there's a lot of things, but two things that are very important about him is, one, he's a top dentist, highly educated, highly skilled, and is a master artisan when it comes to dental work. He does every type of dental work that I know of, Steve, and also is from the time you first have teeth until you need dentures. He does everything from the time you take a kid to the dentist for the first time until the time that they need dentures. He can help them with that too, and everything in between. Okay, so that he covers everything, and he's a master at all of that. And his prices are like out of the 1990s. His prices are so fair, so low. You know, you get that Boca quality dentist without the Boca prices is a way to describe it, I guess. Yeah, and he's
Dentist, I've never been a bad dental patient. I confess that up front.
Yeah.
It's easy peasy with it.
Yeah, and Steve's talking about the anxiety of the pain. I think most people, it's the anxiety of the pain of the price of dentistry is fear. People are afraid of it, and they actually avoid going to the dentist because I think of the price. They don't have those worries with Dr. Gupta, all right? His prices are fair, and you'll be blown away when he quotes you the price for whatever work you go in for. All right, now give Dr. Gupta a call. His number 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. Make sure you tell Dr. Gupta you heard about him on the Steve Kane Show. All right, let's go to the phones. I've lost track of the order of the calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Mike from Houston. How are you?
All right, Mike.
Mike, what's up?
Hey, Steve. Hey, yeah, when you're talking about Mayor B, are you talking about Buttigieg? Yeah, I just want to make sure we're talking about the same guy.
Is there another Mayor Pete?
Yeah. Well, not that I know of, but I just want to make sure. Yeah. So if he was NROTC, NROTC does things a little bit differently. They don't go to a normal boot camp.
No, he didn't do. No, he didn't do that. You're giving him too much. Listen, here's the deal. Okay, with Mayor Pete, he was recruited by the Kennedys when he was in high school. Okay, Carolyn Kennedy found him. When he was in high school, he wrote a paper on how great Bernie Sanders was, and it was based on kind of like Profiles in Courage. Profiles in Courage by Senator Kennedy. He was President Kennedy. I don't want to say Senator Kennedy because I think I mean Ted. But President Kennedy wrote Profiles in Courage when he was in the Senate, and Profiles in Courage, which used to be required reading. Now it's critical race theory and stuff. But Profiles in Courage is about senators who went against their party to do the right thing. And when Pete Buttigieg was in high school, he wrote a paper praising Bernie Sanders for going against the party for doing what he thought was right, which was enriching himself and getting paid for endorsements, apparently. And it was entered into a contest that he won, a national contest that was being run by the Kennedy family. And Carolyn Kennedy brought him to Boston, recruited him, and put him where he is today. And as part of that, when they groom people, they groomed John Kerry too. Part of that, they do it after the model of their father. You go into the Navy and become a lieutenant. And so he avoided basic training because of his connection to sitting Senator Ted Kennedy at the time and Carolyn Kennedy.
Okay, now I'm getting the picture, okay. And the other thing I will tell you is the Navy does that. They did it with LBJ back in like 42. They will give a commission, they give them special privilege, exemption. They will get, because they think they're going to be able to help them later on down the road. And they did it with LBJ. LBJ came back from spending 6 months in the South Pacific with a Silver Star.
Yeah.
Everything that I've read was he did not deserve that, and he flaunted that on his lapel for the rest of his life.
Oh.
I think I'll tell you about it.
I do believe I've heard that Ron DeSantis didn't come back with a Silver Star, but came back with some urine on his uniform, apparently from his job over there.
But the other thing I want to say just real quick was that I heard him say something about, well, when I was in the Navy, it was so great. I was working out every day, going to the gym every day, and I was like, what Navy were you in? Because my Navy, I spent 12 years active in reserve. My Navy, if you had time to go off, to trot off to the gym, you weren't doing your job. And people took a dim view to that. You know, my squadron, you were either flying or keeping an airplane in the air. You know, working. This trotting off to the gym was not how the Navy worked. Okay, so Yeah, I think you're right. I think he was a special kind of case that.
Well, and remember, Ron DeSantis was okay. See, all these people are groomed. In Ron DeSantis's book, which I threw into the garbage at the gas station, and he talks about he writes about when he was recruited. He was the captain of the Yale baseball team. H.W. Bush 41, came to Yale and met him, and that's when they recruited him, because H.W. used to be the captain of the Yale baseball team back in 1892 or something, and that's when they recruited him. Okay, so both the reason they don't like Trump is these guys are recruited and groomed from young ages, Buttigieg, DeSantis, and they control them, and they don't control Trump.
They're part of the conveyor belt of politicians that the Republican establishment and the Democrats too. This is what I always loved about Trump, was that he shattered that. I mean, he was an act.
Now listen, we got a break. But before I break, I want to ask you: do you think that Casey DeSantis, before today, knew that her husband was the assistant urine collector in the Navy? Do you think she? Yeah.
If that was my collateral duty, I would not be advertising it.
All right, take care. Thanks for the call. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. Back after this.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the Oldies forecast.
Good Monday morning, everybody. Hope you're off to a great start. So today, volatile, we have a marginal risk for severe storms. Already saw a few storms overnight, pretty strong. And we're going to see that due to deep set tropical moisture in the area. A little daytime heating and a disturbance is going to really mean widespread storms throughout the course of the afternoon and evening as well. And WPVF 25 First Warning meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 1 Seminole Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best of the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a True Oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Southbound up your jog road and a multi-vehicle crash is now cleared, and delays are subsiding on the approach. And seeing usual delays now, the 195 heading northbound from Deerfield Beach into Boca. So you want to take Military Show over the Turnpike instead, which are moving up at full speed. In Lake Worth, we do have a multi-vehicle crash on 10th Avenue North and north D Street. In Fort Lauderdale, a multi-vehicle crash now cleared I-95 heading northbound at Marina Mile. And stopping with traffic is still going back to Griffin Road. This report is sponsored by Blindsor.com. At Blindsor.com, they offer over 50% custom window treatments, including faux wood blinds and shutters. All the prices less than retail. Plus, they'll send you free samples before you buy. Don't hire an expensive pro. Do it yourself and save big at Blindsor.com. That's traffic. I'm Chris Barr.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. PBKC is the county's only OTB location featuring betting action from top horse tracks around the country. See, bet, and win on great races in our incredible paddock restaurant with over 140 new HD TVs, big screens, exceptional eats, and full bar. The paddock is also your best bet for special events, comedy, music, and dinner shows. For a full schedule of upcoming events, go to pbkennelclub.com.
And
sexual vigor and excitement are great, sleeping the way they should without disturbances, and reducing their symptoms of aging. Our all-natural hormone optimization therapy is precise, easy, and effective from day one. Office visits are usually less than 5 times per year, and the cost is only $150 per month for most patients. Let our medical team get you optimized and living your best life. Our family medical practice has been serving South Florida for over 71 years. Let us show you what personalized medical care and being treated like family feels like. Call us at 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. Or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
Hi, this is Gabriel, Florida Cash Home Buyer, and we pay cash for houses. If you want to sell your home fast and easy without a realtor and save thousands in commissions and closing costs, call me at 561-570-7070. You can sell us your home in as little as 3 days or on your time frame. We can even pay you a cash advance before the closing, and we guarantee to make you a fair and honest offer. Our home buying process is simple, and we can make you a cash offer over the phone or in person, whatever works for you. Do you have a home that needs a lot of work? Did you inherit a house you don't want? No problem. We can buy your home no matter the condition or situation. You don't need to clean or fix anything, and there's no commissions or closing costs. If you want to sell your home fast and easy, we'll buy it. Call us today for a free offer. 561-570-7070. That's 561-570-7070. 561-570-7070.
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa, and my husband and I received our My Pillow 2.0 that we ordered with Kane the other day, the buy one get one free, and they're our first My Pillows, and we love them. We absolutely love them. They're just absolutely marvelous. Yeah, I'm so glad. I got slippers on the way too.
Go to mypillow.com and use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and buy your My Pillow 2.0. Right now, buy one, get one free. You can also order by phone, toll free.
Oh my goodness.
716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Correct, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve's here. We've covered a lot today, and we'll go to the phones in just a moment. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You know, we have not heard from a single liberal today, and that I can remember, and there's been a lot of very bad information that I would expect that they would try to counter. These poll numbers, President Trump 10 points ahead of Joe Biden in the latest national poll. And by the way, that's a poll of registered voters, not likely voters, so you got to add 10 points to that, so he's really 20 points ahead. That President Trump has 20% of black support in the country now. Not one liberal has called on any of this stuff. I think they're just tuning it out because, you know, ABC News, they had a panel. Let me pull this story up. Let me pull this up. And there was something that happened over the weekend that I'm not going to talk about on the air to remind me to tell you about after the show, Steve. Yeah, I can't. There was a big happening over the weekend. The ABC News did something that I got to share with you. I'll find it in a second. Hold on if you're on hold. This is live. What? Well, Steve, I went through all the. Oh, I'm sure I went through all these other stories throughout the show today. But hold on. Okay, here it is. Okay, so all the polls are in Trump's favor against Biden now. All right, the latest polls, and ABC News. Listen to this. This is in the Gateway Pundit. A video of a Republican commentator speaking about the weakness of the Democrats' presidential bench in a panel discussion on ABC News this week was deleted by ABC. So they had this whole discussion talking about this new poll that has Trump 10 points ahead of Biden, okay? And they were trying to spin the poll. It's 52-42 of registered voters in Trump's favor. So what they were trying to do on ABC News was say, well, you know, both of these guys are old, and you know, comparing Trump to Biden. It's not Biden's age people have a problem with. He's got he's got a lot of, yeah. It's the economy, you know, the high inflation. He takes bribes, but mainly he's got like Alzheimer's or something. Yeah. And they had this whole discussion about the poll. The Republican commentator did a very good job pointing out the problems that they're having on the Democrat side, and ABC deleted the video because it made Biden look too bad. They deleted their own video discussing this that was on, like no one's going to know about it. It was on TV yesterday, and it's all over the place. And the poll numbers are really devastating for the Democrats. And this was a poll done by the Washington Post that hates Trump. It's a liberal poll.
Over the weekend, and that is that Biden's not going to be the candidate. And why they're positioning they are is something I don't quite understand.
Yeah.
The Biden is not going to be the candidate. He's not even a realistic choice at this point. Be known.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too close to reality. Here to name, bring up that kind of makes me uncomfortable, worries me a little bit, and I think there's a realistic chance. I've said it from the beginning. What's
Newsom? Newsom?
So not Newsom.
Cuomo?
Yeah, Michelle.
Oh no, Michelle. I know they're talking about Michelle. I can't believe that.
Who's leading that charge? That rumor? The Michelle charge?
Yes.
Ted Cruz.
Yeah. I can't believe that Michelle Obama has never had a job in her life, but I think I was telling you about this the other day. Ted Cruz is in with the Bush family. Okay, that's how he came up in Texas politics, and yeah, I believe it. Yeah, because George W. Bush, who voted for Hillary and Biden, George W. Bush is very good friends with the Obamas. He loves the Obamas. If you ever see George W. Bush with Michelle, it's like his best friend here. Okay. So I think Ted Cruz got it through the Bush family. It's Michelle, and they, yeah.
I mean, now that you say that, I mean, do you take that serious?
Yeah, I think what they're doing is trying to get a discussion going to do polling to see what the polls would say to it. They want to get a good poll so they can go to her. No, nope. I don't at all. Well, first off, I think they're doing it to try to get some poll information and they get some favorable polls and then go to her and try to talk her into it.
Favorable polls on her.
Yeah, but I think but I think a lot of Democrats are not big fans of them, and there's all this stuff that recently. Well, Barack, a lot of stories came out. Well, that's her husband. This mysterious death. And the rumors surrounding the death of the chef, his gay fantasies that were recently uncovered. Nah, well, it's the other branch of the Democrats. It's probably the Clintons because they hate the Obamas because Obama, took her presidency away from her. But those gay rumors won't do them too good in the black community because gay people don't like the gays, whatever they say. All right, you want to take some more calls? What do you want to do? All right, our number 1-888. Go Kane 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie.
Well, I'm good. This is what I was going to tell Steve after the show. I'm never going to talk to Richie again. No. You're not. No, you're not. No. Hold on, Steve. No, I'm going to tell you off the air what happened with Richie, and then discuss it, but I'm not. I don't know. Steve doesn't know about this yet. I tried to call you yesterday. You didn't answer my call, Steve. But Richie, no, we're not going to discuss that on the air. I'm going to fill Steve in first, and then Steve will decide. But I'm not going to talk to Richie ever again, Steve. I'm never going to talk to him. He did something over the weekend. I tried to get you yesterday to tell you about it, but I'm not. We're not going to talk about it on the air today until I run it by Steve. And I'm not even going to get into it. Some people know about it. Richie called me over the weekend on my YouTube live stream and said some terrible things and he wants to repeat them on the air again. And I'm not. I don't think I'm not going to let that happen. And I'm never going to talk to Richie again. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. He's got a lot of nerve calling in today after that too, by the way. A lot of nerve. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Tom from Florida. I'm on my way home from work. Whatever Richie did, Richie, you hear me? I'm glad you upset Brian to the point where he doesn't feel he can talk to you on the air anymore. I find that fantastic.
It's not that I can't. I don't want to talk to Richie ever again.
Oh, okay. I'm just glad you're upset about that. That's all. Anything to get him used to makes me happy.
Sir, are you among the
Yes.
higher echelon of people that know what the hell is going on here?
To be absolutely honest with you, I listen to your show on the way to work. I wouldn't waste my time with, a non-work, going to work or listening to have anything to do with Brian and what.
Well, you're calling in now about it, and me. So, I mean, come on. In fact, Steve, what Richie said, I thought it was so nasty that I deleted the YouTube video of it. Well, I'm a decent person, unlike Richie. All right.
So Ron DeSantis used to hold urine jars, was what I was hearing before.
Yeah, that sounds like something you would probably like to do.
Mind holding Trumps at any time, so, that's not a big problem. So, anymore, you do to do that job. I'd rather, think about this. Ron DeSantis was in the service of his country holding somebody's urine. You're gladly holding Donald Trump's urine at any time. You're waiting for him for the call. So
yeah,
it's okay.
I thought you weren't interested in anything that had to do with me, and you just continue to talk about me and fantasize.
Well, I
know. You were talking about another Brian that likes Trump. I know. All right, let's take our break, and we'll be back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
All right, and it's time for the first gold report of the week from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with William Youngerman. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
Doing great. How are the metals looking this morning?
Metals looking good. They've stabilized nicely right around the support levels, or actually over the support levels, and gold gained $5.30 on Friday, closing out the week at $1,924.80 the ounce. Silver was up 14 cents, closing out the week at $23.52, while platinum gained $8 at $9.27, and palladium was down $12 at $1,227. This morning we got gold up right now only 20 cents right now at $1,925. Silver down 2 cents at $23.50. Platinum down $11 at $9.16, and palladium down $21 at $1,206. So the morning was starting off a little slow, but we'll see how the.
Yeah, on Friday, we don't usually talk about things in the news too much with William Youngerman. This is not political, but on Friday, a Democrat senator was indicted on bribery charges, and they found 2 kilo bars of gold that he had been bribed with. Yeah. And, one of the, last week we were talking about silver bars, and I was wondering about, you do have kilo bars of gold available.
In stock, yes.
Yeah, is it with the gold bars similar to the silver bars that there are certain types and certain brands that people would want if they were interested in a kilo bar of gold? Or does it...
Best delivery bars on kilos, so we only sell own brands that are top thing before we sell.
Who are kilo bars for in general? Like what's the type of person that comes, because a kilo bar, how many ounces is a kilo? I don't even know offhand.
32.15 ounces.
William Youngerman knows 32.1 ounces. So what kind of person comes in that buying 32.1 ounces of gold in one bar? Yeah, no, he didn't buy them, Steve. He didn't buy them. He was bribed with them. But for what type of person or investor or collector is gold like that for?
of people like to buy, bulk quantity gold, and sometimes if they're buying like 100 or more ounces, they'll pick up 3 kilos because it's also the least premium that you're going to buy on any of the gold products. So, I mean, kilos go for just a few dollars over the spot price of gold. So they're very reasonable, and people sometimes who are bigger traders of gold who like to have the physical in their possession, don't want to pay a bigger premium for the coins, will buy kilobars from us. If they're trading, they'll sometimes wait for a run up, and then they don't have to recover as much on the premium side.
Yeah. Well, so listen, William Youngerman, handles so many different sizes of transactions from, 1 silver coin all the way up to kilobars, and give him a call. He opens up at 10 a.m. His number, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com. Or you can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. That's on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road in Boca. All right, William Youngerman, we'll touch base tomorrow. Back after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is...
All right, if you're on hold, stand by. And, I'm not going to tell you all what was said over the weekend by Richie. But what he said was not about me, okay? It was about you, Steve. And I'll tell you all about it after the show. And I was so put off by what he said that I deleted the video. And I didn't even want to tell you about it, okay? But I'm going to tell you about it after the air, and can I just say a little bit more about this before we go? I'll just give you the reason Richie was in a rage today is because we went over 2.5 hours in this program with screenless calls, and not one person asked about it, and that's what really ticked him off beyond imagination. Anyway, Steve. Okay, so we got a big, before we go back to the calls, okay, Trump is speaking in South Carolina at some point today. I don't know the exact time, but President Trump will be speaking in South Carolina today. And it's a ticketed event, and it's sold out. So I'm assuming Newsmax will carry it, and certainly Right Side Broadcasting will carry it online. And this is if you can watch it live, watch it. Again, the exact time has not been released, but sometime today in South Carolina. And South Carolina, for those that are new to the primary politics, South Carolina, the day of the South Carolina primary, is somebody told me 3 p.m., but don't hold me to that, okay? I don't know the exact time. When South Carolina comes in, when they do the primary in South Carolina every 4 years, it's almost, and you'll agree with this, Steve, it's almost as a big of deal as a whole national election. A big deal is made about South Carolina. It's a big deal. And Ron DeSantis in the last poll last week in South Carolina was at 8 or 9 in South Carolina, 8 or 9. I can't remember which one it was, single digits. And he, Nikki Haley and Scott are second and third because she was the governor and he's the senator, so they got home field advantage. But Ron DeSantis is in single digits. And even Nikki Haley is in the low teens, as is Scott, in the state that they got home field advantage in. And so this speech today is very important. It's the first Trump speech after this massive poll over the weekend from the Washington Post, giving him the big lead on Biden. I'm hoping he mentions this urine collector thing of Ron DeSantis. I believe that Laura Loomer got. I have not talked to Loomer about this. I've not asked her, but because I don't want to put her on this I believe Laura Loomer is on the down low working for President Trump, okay? I think in an unofficial capacity, she's working for President Trump. She has been, Steve, this story about DeSantis, she has his military fitness report. I never remember seeing a fitness report of a candidate for office before. Have you? I don't, and she's got the actual thing. So I'm hoping Trump will mention that today. All right, let's take some of these calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian and Steve. Hope everyone's well. This is Bill from Sanford.
William, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. I have a comment on DeSantis and the urinalysis and pee collector and everything. I'm a Vietnam veteran from the United States Army, and being part of the military, I don't know if you understand, Brian. You have assigned duties. You may not volunteer, or maybe he did volunteer for this. You have to do those assigned duties. You may not like it. You may not like what they call what you do, but those are assigned duties. And I agree with you on DeSantis. I'll never vote for him again. But I don't think it's, I take you a little aback that you're making fun of an assigned duty, because if you don't do your assigned duties, it's called insubordination.
Yeah, okay. So explain, okay, slow down here a second here, all right? Listen, I've had a Gold Star mother call in, and I've had veterans call in earlier. The earlier veterans at the beginning of the call were upset with me, and then I explained everything. They were on my side. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole rap with you because we're towards the end of the show. And I don't want to spend 5 minutes re-explaining what I've told several times in the last almost 3 hours. But he is, at the time, a full lieutenant in the United States Navy. He is an attorney at a very high-level position. He had assisted not just the Navy SEALs in combat with advice. He was also assisting with interrogation of terrorists in Guantanamo Bay. And why? What would someone at that level? What would someone at that level have to do to become the pea collector at his rank and position?
He was either assigned or he was...
I understand he was assigned or told to do it, but why would they take somebody like that? And he wasn't even the urine coordinator; he was the assistant urine. So you got there.
Stay in the service.
You're trying to tell. To me, it sounds like a form of punishment.
Well, it could be. I have no idea. But if you don't do it, you're court-martialed.
Yeah, but why? Why? But hold on a second here, okay? Ron DeSantis, he passed himself off as MAGA, which was a lie. Ron DeSantis, many people believe that he was a Navy SEAL. I correct that every chance I can get. Then he did his Top Gun ad when he dressed up like Tom Cruise in Top Gun, right? Okay, and now we get to what he was really doing, and he's given a false impression of his duties. Why would they give somebody of his rank and stature in the service? Why would they put him in charge of the? Well, they didn't put him in charge. Why would they make him assistant to the person in charge of P?
I'm just giving you my opinion, and you got a great show. I love your show. What a great day today! I listened to it from beginning to now. So I just my opinion, Brian, and I'll let it go at that. All right.
All right. I'm trying to pull something out of him, but it's rare that I can't do that. Oh my goodness. And I must say, I'm more angry at Richie than I was before, Steve, because he's going to make me, I didn't even want to tell you about the whole thing, and now he's forcing it. That's what a jerk he is. No, if I wanted to do that, I would have called you Saturday when it happened, and I didn't, because I didn't want to get into it, and he's forced it upon me to do it. That's what a terrible person he is. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. You're on the air, caller. Once, twice. Okay, that's it for that. Now, I will tell you, though, so this week, Trump speaking in South Carolina is only the beginning of a big week, okay, because we've got the Republican debate coming up, and, of course, he has some event of which we don't have the details of, where he's going to meet with members of the United Auto Workers Union during the debate. And he's got a counter event planned, which of course is not going to be carried by the mainstream cable news, okay? It'll be carried probably on Newsmax and online. But this is a big week for Trump. And this may very well, Steve, be the last week that a good chunk of these candidates are in the race. I mean, how long can... Yeah. I think the first out is of the main ones will be Chris Christie. I think it'll be Chris Christie. Well, Chris Christie, his campaign, I was telling you this last week, Chris Christie's campaign is not a real campaign. They have, to qualify to be on the debate stage, you have to raise so much money. So people have donated millions of dollars to Chris Christie to get him on the debate stage so that he could scream at Trump. And since Trump's not going there, they're going to stop paying him to be up there, right? They're going to stop funding him. So he's going to be, if not the first, one of the first out will be Chris Christie. Yeah. Ramaswamy is a billionaire. He can stay in this for a long time funding his own campaign. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hello? Yes, you're on the air.
My name's Anna, and I live in Ohio.
Yes, Anna.
Just wanted to say that I'm the first, really been listening to the show for just a little while. I'm glad I found it because I love it, and I'm glad that you speak truth. That's what I always want to see is people that speak truth about things. And I think too that the black vote is a little bit more, I would think, than what 20% is.
Well, that's huge. President Trump is polling at 20% in the latest Washington Post poll among blacks. In 2020, he was at 8. Now he's at 20 with blacks. The largest black support for a Republican since President Eisenhower. Remember, that was before the Civil Rights Movement. Okay? So that's, and he had World War II victory behind him. You know what I mean? So that was a big deal. This is huge. And today, when President Trump speaks in South Carolina, that has a massive black voting bloc, okay, in South Carolina. That's why this poll and this speech today are so important. All right, we're out of time, but thanks for the call, Anna. Take care. All right, we've had some good calls today and a couple that were, but for the most part, a pretty good Monday. I'm Brian Craig, Steve Kane here. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. Soon, 47. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless Donald Trump.
Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group.
All right, guys. I'll see you soon.